Good evening and welcome to Audio Dungeon. I am Tony Hansen, joined by the rest of the crew, Dan Isgro, Ryan Ockerfrida, and Damian Scro. Guys, thank you to our sponsors and partners, Fantasy Network, Dungeon TV, Phoenix Studios, Norse Foundry, Dungeon Dragons Memes, My D&D, and Nerd Asteroid. Thank you to our staff, Nick Simone, Personal Fairweather, Todd Heaney, Lee House, and Liam Lynch. Guys, today is Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means that we are doing our minigame show. This is D6 Arcade, guys. We're going to play Super Fight again. It was a lot of fun last time we played that. We are going to do critical hits of the week, and then we are going to go into a nerd review of Moon Knight and our brand new Roll and Rumble system, which we're going to try out right in front of you. It's basically going to be a session 0 for Roll and Rumble. We're going to try it out, see how it goes, and prepare for the amazing things we have coming in the future just by getting it going now. Guys, how was your week?
All right,
not too bad.
Very good. Very good.
About the new Roll and Rumble system. I'm sure a lot of the fans will have questions about it too. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, absolutely, and it's a tricky thing to put together. Because you want to make it so that so many different people can make different styles of play. So we're gonna work that out. We'll tweak today. We'll do all that stuff, and it's not so different from the original one. So I think it'll go pretty well.
Good. Yeah, I want to try it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And if it goes well today, we'll try to do a match or two. We'll see how it goes. So, guys, we're going to get into our first show today. It is called Critical Hits of the Week. Yeah! Critical Hits of the Week. Guys, welcome. Dan's still suspicious.
Yeah.
He wonders if
I think
recorded.
it sounded like it was off a little bit.
Oh, he was different today.
I think you were. We're on to you.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's that yeah at the end every time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I just hit it perfectly every single time.
Every time.
That's impressive if you do.
Maybe. Guys, welcome to the show. This is the show where I try to fool everybody that I'm saying the intro or not saying the intro. No one seems to know. But also what we try to do here is we go over the week's funniest, coolest, and most interesting, best TikToks, memes, and such, all in fantasy tabletop. And we try to vote on it and see what we think is the best ones and which ones made us the happiest the most. So let's get into it, guys. We have 5 memes coming up right now. We're going to check them out and see what we think. Here it goes.
Roll for intelligence.
Why did he smack it? Was he just frustrated? I gotta see it again.
Roll for intelligence.
He's just messing around. So
The reaction.
that was funny. So I guess this could easily spawn a conversation about rendering aid during Dungeons and Dragons to another player. I feel like this is a source of some sort of contention. I noticed because sometimes as a DM, people are kind of like, well, they feel like they should bring him back very easily, and it shouldn't be really be a thing. And sometimes they feel, I guess, the opposite. I don't know. It's kind of a hard thing to express, but I noticed that there's definitely some sort of uneasiness about how easy or hard it should be to bring somebody back up. What do you guys think?
You mean from unconsciousness or from death?
Unconsciousness.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what the action is, Like, I don't know. Like, it depends on what the injury is. Depends on, like, what they're trying to do. Like, I would assume, like, if, let's say, someone's swimming, someone's drowning, and maybe you have someone who's skilled in, like, as, like, high survival skills, and they want to do chest compressions and just kind of, like, if they have that knowledge, I think that would be kind of like an easier roll. Plus, with their high bumps. It's like a what's the roll episode now.
Yeah, but I was thinking, like, we've seen it in movies and TV so many different ways too. You've seen the quick, like, somebody's passed out and they throw like a glass of water on their face and they spring back to life. Versus, like, what comes to mind is the Tarantino Pulp Fiction. The needle to the chest.
Oh no, the wolf
back. she's out. She's unconscious in that scene, and it's such an amazing build-up till they finally, she snaps out of it. But so I think it really depends on the scenario, like Dan was saying, like what happened and what the situation is, and it could be a splash of water to the face or precision surgical
needle to the heart.
chest.
Yeah.
So I've seen it controlled sometimes where it's like you have to achieve a certain number, and it just periodically that's the number you have to achieve. Do you guys like it that a dungeon master will raise it up, lower it down, depending on like what you just said? Like, okay, well, they should come right back, or no, this is a bad injury, it should be higher.
Yeah, I mean, especially like if someone has like a gnarly like gash wound or something, or like an axe wound or something like that, that's like messy and chopped up, and you say like, okay, I have my whatever, like my healing tools, and I'm gonna sew up the wound. You're like, wait a second, like his arm is hanging by a thread. You're not just gonna like take a needle, you're not just gonna string it all back together with a few stitches. So like something like that's gonna be really difficult. But then, like if someone's at 0 because they got like the wind knocked out of them or something like that, like you might be able to just drag them to safety. And like Damien said, splash some water on them, or, I don't know, maybe like give them some rations or give them some water or something.
Some smelling salts. We've
Smelling
seen that enough
salts.
times.
Yeah.
Get that. Let me give you a little whiff. Come
That
right
stuff
at it.
is nuts. I've never tried it, but I've seen videos.
It looks amazing in movies.
Yeah. Let's go to number 2. Meme number 2.
So weird.
So this is an older one, and I've seen this before, and I've watched that like 7 times in a row. And the first time I saw it because I thought it was hilarious, and I even love it more. This is like I think you should leave, where like you watch it and you keep seeing new things, and then if you listen, you hear the girlfriend laugh or the wife, and then the guy is like, it's so weird, and he just doesn't get it. But
I heard that, and I thought somebody was talking. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, so just in the background, she's showing him, what's going on, and they're laughing at it. I think that's hilarious. I love that one. It's gonna be hard for me to vote for anything else besides that one today.
It's a one-note joke, but
Yeah. The slapping like adds a lot to it too.
Yeah, that's great. Let's go to meme number 3.
I got a neat trick for you. It only works once, but oh boy, does it work. If you want to make your players paranoid, here's what you do. Message each of them privately and tell them to roll a d20. Tell them to share the number with you and no one else. It doesn't actually matter what they roll, but they don't know that. After they send you their resulting number, send them another message saying you are not the doppelganger, and also tell them not to share that message with anyone else playing the game. They will be confused. They may have follow-up questions. Don't answer any of them. And do your absolute best to never bring this up again. Your players are gonna think about it, though. They're gonna think, I'm not the doppelganger, but who is? They might even think that if one of them is a doppelganger, they'll probably try extra hard to seem like they're not. You're gonna have some paranoid players. Until they realize none of them are a doppelganger, and you're just fucking with them.
Yes.
So there's definitely a few times where it's like you want to throw something in the mix just to make people like off guard or messed up a little bit, or take some like the other day, take people out of the room, so you all come back in and you just don't know what's going on. It definitely messes with your head. So let's use that example. We just did that recently in our tabletop on last Wednesday. What did Dan and Damien? What did you guys think about that? Did it mess with you?
It was great. Yeah, it always does. Anytime, like, the wool is pulled over your eyes, literally, like, okay, now you're not going to know what's going on. You don't know the whole party's going to split up. Everybody's going to have either a different experience, the same experience, some variation, you don't know. And that's what's great about it, the mystery. And, yeah, the paranoia. It's awesome.
It's always like whenever it's like me doing something by myself, it's always like one part of my brain is like, okay, I have to get this right. because if I mess it up, then like I and me alone can be responsible for like screwing everything up for the entire party. But then the other half of my brain is like, it's just me. Like if I mess up, then I'm just like getting myself killed, or I'm just messing things up for myself. It's really no big deal. But you know, you never have any idea what the DM is thinking, which is kind of, you know, the whole idea
It's
here.
hard to know how pivotal your actions will be.
Yeah.
Right.
There's always the old trick of like, player announces their action, and then you just like repeat it in a questioning tone. It's like, I walk through the door. You walk through the door?
Oh yeah.
No. What? No. Wait. No. Wait.
Yeah.
That's like my bread and butter. I do a lot. I usually do it now just for fun, or if I feel like people. I tell you all the time. I feel like people are one way or the other. I'll try to bring them back. And I'll just be like, I did to Liam the other day. I was messing with Liam. Because Liam said, I go in the room and I put the body in the mirror. So I go, you go in the room? You go inside the room. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah,
I love.
that's great.
The best is when you do it to Brooke, because she always says no as if like you're crazy for even suggesting that like, okay, I walk through the door. You walk through the door? No. Wait.
She actually does this. She goes, no, wait, what?
No, she's just like, no.
She goes, Tony. Oh, I don't know what to do. She completely loses it. The best was Vin Bonatti, who plays with us. Melissa's on the show right now for Gnome Patrol, and that's her husband. And this is with Damien. No, I told the story before. Damien was there, and there's one time Vin was supposed to do something. I cannot remember for my life what it was now, but so I start doing it, and I'm doing it so that because in the beginning, if people like are just this is the answer, I don't like that, so I play back and forth, and so I've never had one that was so successful as this one, right, Damien? Where I told Vin, I'm like, we'll just say, oh, it's whatever it was. I was like, so you're gonna open the chest, and he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, so you're definitely opening a chest. I'm gonna give you a countdown. so
Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna do a countdown. 5 seconds. Tell me if you're definitely opening a chest. And he goes, wait, I don't know if I'm opening the chest. So I'm like, okay, you don't open the chest then. He's like, but I might open the chest. I was like, so you're gonna open it? He's like, I think so. I was like, okay, 5 seconds, you're gonna open the chest. He goes, 5, 4. He goes, no, wait, I don't open it. And we went on, and he's debating it, right? And I just let it go on. It was 45 minutes.
What?
45, and after a while, I'm just doing it because I wanted to see. I was bored. I just want to see how long he would go.
It was like the greatest balancing act I've ever witnessed ever, because it was he teetered and tottered and went back and forth and thought about every possible angle and every little which way you could look at it and think about the situation, every possibility, everything.
They never go that long. And I literally had to release him. I was like, fine. I stopped. Go ahead, make your thing.
That's it.
Never was that successful before.
Did you tell him you were messing with him?
I think so.
That's so funny.
No, he definitely knew. Like after
he
a little
still
while,
know which one's right. I think at the end, I just tell. I say like, I go Dave. I go Vin. I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? I just kind of like.
It was a balance. He eventually had to make a decision.
He was
after 44 minutes, he knew that you were messing with him.
Yes.
No, after 45 minutes, the rest of us were ready to.
They were like, "Let's go make a decision."
Yeah, like
he was like, "Come on,
we gotta. What are we doing here? Are we playing a game, or are we sitting here watching?"
I think Vinny was there. And Vinny goes, "Stop doing it, Tony. Don't do this anymore. Stop torturing."
He did, yeah. He tried to get you to stop.
So sometimes Vinny Pro on the show would look at me. He's like, "Come on, what are you doing?" Funny. Here we go. Number 3.
I got a neat trick.
Oh, we did that one. Number 4.
Wait.
Yeah.
Play that again.
Yes.
So that's funny. When DM's running out of ideas, sometimes that happens. Sometimes the well runs dry, and then you're like, "Oh, where am I gonna go now?" Because like just something happens. Maybe you're on a tangent of a tangent, and you're like, "I don't know." that
He's
happens.
basically right. Deluxe is
And-
right though. That was Rob last episode.
And then a character comes along.
Yeah, that was desperation last episode. Ryan, have you ever had that moment with me or with anyone else you play with where like the DM is clearly messing with you or trying to make you go back and forth to figure something out or anything like that?
Similar to the Vin Bonani situation, or the
Yeah, or
way that you
whichever.
played like the World War III, like running out of ideas, so I'm gonna start some.
I guess any.
You've definitely messed with me before, like maybe not in tabletop, like D&D.
Jesus, in real life.
style. No, like the whole thing with the dice, like that was crazy. You told me to hit Liam with the dice, and then when I hit him, you penalized me for hitting him with the dice.
Yes.
That was messed up. That was crazy.
He's talking about Roll and Rumble, guys. You know, you
Yeah,
remember that?
To smash the dice.
Remember
over.
the huge
Yes.
die, the
Oh
huge
yes.
D20?
Yeah. That's right.
I won the Royal Rumble match that night, and I was so pumped. He tells me to hit Liam with the thing, I do it, and then he revokes my win and gives it to Rob. I was like, I can't believe you.
Oh my God.
That was what you talked about the other day. That was the most that Ryan was ever mad at me in real life. He was still joking around. He knew it was a joke, but like he was like the mad meter was equal with the fun meter, and he was like, "What? Oh, okay. You told me to do it." And then
I was
I was like,
dead
he's so salty right now.
yeah, I was pissed. I went home. I was like trying to replay it so I could
He put up
screenshot.
the clip of he's like,
Yeah,
"Clearly
you
you
making
can
the
see the commissioner is telling me whatever." And my eyes go like this. It's like, see the eyes. Oh man, that was great.
You got me.
It'd be funny if I actually did do it to like tell you to do that, but I don't know. I don't even know how you got that from that.
Yeah. That's crazy. What you trying to do right now is just nuts.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Number 5.
You've been hurt. My wife took off with a travelling minstrel, left me in the dead of night. In a lot of ways it felt like morning never came. No, I meant your leg is bleeding. Oh. So it is. No cause for alarm then? Nah, happened a while back. I was in a fight with this fella, but about halfway through, he turned into a wolf. Bit me in the leg. Are you aware of what a werewolf is? Am I aware of what now? What colour is your blood? Grey. And what colour is that fern? Grey. And what colour is that flower? Grey. That's 0 for 3. Not winning any gold medals, but at least you haven't turned silver. I don't know what you mean. But I am enjoying this walk. And that checks out.
That's a pretty good one, though. That's an old one too. I haven't seen him do any new ones in a while. At least the ones that reached me. But he's pretty good.
Do werewolves not see color or something?
They see him. I think like dogs and such, like the kingdom
Okay.
see in like shades of gray, right?
50 Shades of Grey.
Right,
Maybe.
right, Ryan. 50 Shades of
Thank
Grey. Is that a movie you like? Is that your favorite book?
Favorite book, favorite movie.
Tell us about it.
It's great. It's an autobiography on my life. 50 Shades of Grey. And that's about it. I was about to shut off my camera.
50 Shades of Ryan.
That was great.
Who would read the book 50 Shades of Ryan Acrofrida?
I would.
Who would read that book?
Read that book.
I don't know.
David's like, no.
I mean,
No.
David's not. Right.
probably not.
What? Rain's Lullaby.
Ryan, I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong. How about this? I would probably buy it and not read it. If it's
I
actually
respect
your
that.
book, I would buy it to support you, and I'd probably never open it.
Wow. Mr. R34 says the 6-second countdown. Evil. So much extra pressure. I love when
Oh, yeah.
and Todd says I love when Tony the 6-second countdown. You see people's true decision making. That's exactly what it is. That 6-second countdown. It just makes you And that's why at home everybody's relaxed. And they were like, "Why'd you do that?" But literally, when you're there looking at me and I'm counting down, all you can think of is time is running out. And then you usually just go with your first panic decision. Rob Spataro will always go with his panic decision. That's why he's so great to watch under pressure. Like, I can watch any show with Rob just making decisions under pressure for hours on end, and it's enjoyable.
The secret to overcoming the 6-second countdown is to realize that you do have 6 seconds. Like, that is time that you have to make the decision. So if you actually use the 6 seconds to make a decision, whenever you do it to me, I always wait till 1. I always give you.
Yeah, you do. I know you take your time.
He's taking his time. He's thinking about it. That's amazing. No, I'm freaking out. It's like 6 seconds. Let me just think about everything else in this time instead of thinking about the thing I'm supposed to be thinking about. Trying to make a decision here. Yeah, it's tough.
How many seconds do you think you lose in the 6 seconds worried about the 6 seconds?
4, at least. 4 seconds. Which leaves 2 to make the decision. Because at that point, it's like if I'm gonna spend 6 seconds making a decision, I might as well just spend 2, because what's the difference, really? I mean, I'm sure there is a difference. Clearly, for Dan, there is, but not for me.
Why is it 6?
It would take a year.
Because I do 6 seconds because in rounds, although the new system we have is actually moved it up to 10 seconds, but in tabletop for Dungeons and Dragons at least, it's 6 seconds in a round. Okay. So now technically you shouldn't even have the 6 seconds, but through our whole gaming time, it's just like people just do whatever they want. They'll take forever. They're deciding on things. They have plenty of time, and they go back in time and say, "Oh, well, you know what? Before that, I do this." So it's not going to happen. So 6 seconds is what you get, and that is over. And sometimes I have to call it, not often, but sometimes I count down to the end, and the person didn't make the decision, and they get kind of a little upset. Some accept it, some get a little upset. And
I feel like that's a good decision in itself. Just like, all right, yeah, just whatever happens. If I die,
sometimes
I can't live with that. I have to make a decision. And the clarity of mind feat is awesome.
Right. In the beginning, no one understood.
Seconds. Yeah.
No one understood that. They didn't see the value in it, and no one was getting it. And now they're like, no, this is the best thing in there. So Rob loves it.
Rob used it recently, yeah.
Rob feels like he defeated me in mental combat. He goes, clarity of mind. He goes, I get 60 seconds to do whatever I want. He used his 6 seconds just to say his speech.
He was so happy. He was like, I used that thing that you gave us. And now you gotta wait a whole minute because I'm gonna just sit here and talk about it.
Right. He probably just does the same thing he was gonna do in the first place.
That's usually what winds up happening. Like, you have your first decision, and then you think it over, then you rethink it, and it's like, all right, 6 seconds. All right, just go with the first thing. Probably it's probably the best.
Yeah, that's usually is probably the case. So that was all of them, guys. That was our talk about all these memes real quickly. Meme number 1.
Roll for intelligence.
I got a neat trick for you. It only works once, but oh boy, does it work.
I don't know, this is so good.
And number 5.
You've been hurt. My wife took off with a traveling minstrel.
Okay, guys, let's do the voting. Let's get down to it. Starting with the crew here. Dan, you're up first.
Like number 4 made me laugh. I'm a big Zoolander fan, so I'll go with number 4. And considering we just had an episode on Gnome Patrol where it was that exact situation, so I'll go with number 4.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go with number 2. The guy, the bard, just because that's one of my favorite ones. Ryan, you're up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with number 2 as well.
Number 2, Damien.
And I'm voting for number 3 this week.
Number 3,
yeah,
guys at home.
Players.
Make it yes. Guys at home, make your votes. Let's go around the table, see who we get. Mistar says number 5. Richard likes 5. He likes the werewolf one. Todd agrees. He says number 5. Oh, look at this. Rain, number 5. Jason Spector says number 1.
Wow.
That's it, guys. Last seconds to make your vote. 6 seconds.
Oh,
What all this time you had?
Did you panic? Did you waste 4 seconds? Or did you just say what you thought?
Now you
Oh,
know what it's
I already
like.
voted.
Yes. Now all the fans know. We should do an episode just the fans come on. I just torture them for although I do that every Tuesday with them. But
Yeah.
That's brilliant. But everybody has to see it though.
guys, so that is it. That ends the voting. We have the winner and champion of this week is number 5.
You've been hurt. My wife took off with a travelling minstrel. Left me in the dead of night. In a lot of ways it felt like morning never came. No, I meant your leg is bleeding. Oh. So it is. No cause for alarm then? Nah, happened a while back. I was in a fight with this fella. But about halfway through, he turned into a wolf. Bit me in the leg. Are you aware of what a werewolf is? Am I aware of what now? What colour is your blood? Grey. And what colour is that fern? Grey. And what colour is that flower? Grey. That's 0 for 3. Not winning any gold medals, but at least you haven't turned silver. I don't know what you mean. But I am enjoying this walk. And that checks out.
Congratulations to number 5. That was it, guys. That is Critical Hits of the Week. I hope you enjoyed our conversation about our tabletop exploits. Let us know what you go through. If you're a DM, do you torture your players? And are you a player? Are you tortured by a DM? You need to talk about it. Let us know. We care and we want to hear about it. And let's compare war stories. Guys, that does it for Critical Hits of the Week. Thank you very much for hanging and playing. Let's get ready to go to our next game, guys. Last week we did Super Fight, which is a lot of fun. We're going to do that again because it was a good time. And there is 4 of us right now to battle. So I think it's going to be fun. I want you guys to do one first without me. So everyone roll a D20 if you got it.
yes.
And the highest 2 will battle each other.
13.
3.
5.
13, 3, and 5. Who got the 13? Ryan? So it is Ryan and Dan.
It is time.
This is exciting.
Going down. Uncle Fruta.
Put Ryan up there with Dan. Here we go. And the first one I pulled, who rolled higher? Ryan rolled higher, right? Ryan. Welcome to Super Fight, ladies and gentlemen. This is the game where we play the game Super Fight, which means that these 2 people chosen at random are now identified as a superhero, supervillain, or some type of character, and they will have 2 random abilities. We, which is me and Scro, and the rest of the audience will then vote to see who would win in a fight. Who do we think would win? The only thing we have to judge upon is their explanation of why they should win in that fight. So here we go. Ryan, you are randomly pulled a mummy.
Yes.
And Dan, you are you are a Frankenstein.
Hey, all right.
Yes.
These cards are next to each other. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but
Classic battle for the ages.
I know I'm gonna pull 2. So we're gonna give this 2 separate people. Here we go. Ryan, pick 1 or 2.
1.
Ryan has tiny T-Rex arms.
How is that even of skill? This is
That's what
It's
happens.
not a skeleton. You're a mummy.
One.
Which is
no. I said a skill.
Oh, a skill. And Dan is a believer and is convinced opponent means Bieber bodily harm.
Wait, what?
And you're afraid I'm gonna beat up Justin
You're
Bieber.
you're a believer and is convinced opponent means Bieber bodily harm. So you think that the
I
mummy is going
see.
to kill the Bieber?
So he's threatening. I got it. Okay.
He's not really threatening him, but you just believe it.
Good enough.
Okay, Dan, pick 1 or 2.
2.
I'm gonna give you a different one. This is the one we had last week.
Okay.
Oh,
It was covered in eyes. I'm giving you the same. That was from
Okay.
last week.
Yeah, I did have that one last week.
Here we go. The new number 2. Here it is. It is. You are distracted by shiny things.
Yes. Get him.
And Ryan can walk through solid objects.
Game over.
too bad you can't reach anything.
I can still walk.
Here we go. The battle is Ryan is a mummy, has tiny T-Rex arms, and can walk through solid objects. Meanwhile, his adversary, Dan, is Frankenstein, is a believer, and is convinced that the mummy will hurt Justin Bieber. He's also distracted by shiny things. Guys, Ryan rolled the highest, which means that Ryan can go first. Ryan, state your case.
All right. So I will systematically destroy Dan right now. The first thing I do, we come face to face, and I pull out a shiny object, or I find one on the ground. It's not that hard. I find a rock. It has a little glisten to it when you shine it on the light. He's now distracted, and he's Frankenstein, so he moves pretty slow, and I'm a mummy. So I just run up behind him. I grab him, and now I start pulling him, and I find the closest wall. I just run as fast as I can, holding Dan right into that wall. I go right through, and Dan smacks the wall, falls down. I come out of the wall that I just walked through. I pick him up, and I just keep doing it again and again and again. And then I take the rock, and I smash him. And then the ref comes out, and I cover him. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. The bell rings. They hand me the title. I am now Moon Knight champion.
When did it become a wrestling match?
We got a lot of good comments here. I think we should check out.
Okay,
No, it's possible. It's possible. I could just grab him. It doesn't matter. I could be here. I could be there.
Todd writes, grab him how, Ryan? You have tiny T-Rex arms. You can't just
Good
don't
point, Todd.
I
You're
still
way ahead
have
of me.
arms.
Still arms? Okay.
And I could run through solid objects. He's screwed. And he's Frankenstein. He walks so slow. I don't even need to grab him anymore. Now I could just push him and kick him and stuff. And he's still going straight through the wall. I'm not.
Rain says Frankenstein is the doctor, not the monster.
Good point.
So, am I the doctor or am I the monster?
Wait, what?
I feel like when people say Frankenstein, they mean Frankenstein's monster.
What is
They
the?
do,
Can we look at the card? What does the card say?
Just says Frankenstein.
Fact check that.
Does it say a Frankenstein or does it say
No, but they
Frankenstein?
mean, they don't mean the doctor.
Frankenstein. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll assume Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
Every Google image has the monster.
He's over there Googling everything.
You Googling Frankenstein?
Yeah, because I didn't
You
know.
know what? Good for you. Good for you.
You can't Google because you have tiny T-Rex arms. You can't. You can't use your keyboard.
What is,
Poor
yeah,
T-Rex.
Dinosaur
I'm not-
problems.
I'm not fighting the wrong person.
Damien, any question for Ryan?
Well, I question how well he was able to grab and hold on to someone, especially someone as large and bulky as Frankenstein's monster. If we're saying it's the monster, he's kind of a tall fella, and he is like lumbering, but that would make him hard to like move, I feel. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure this plan like really totally checks out.
I grab him by the sleeve. I grab him by the fingers. I grab anything that I could just pull and take him with me. And now we're running together, but I'm going through the wall and he's not.
I have a question. You said you picked it. You a huge part of your plan was to pick up shiny things, but how'd you pick them up?
I just I did almost like a stop, drop, and roll method where I got very close to the ground so my arms were able to touch it, rolled over, came up, and now all the reflection and all the light moving because the rock is just moving. I'm flipping around. He's just like, what the heck is going on? And I even threw the rock by the wall. So now he's just staring at the wall. And then we just ran into the wall.
Yeah, shiny rock. I mean, that's amazing. You just found
The whole thing's
shiny
amazing.
rock.
Let's go over to Dan for his side of the story.
Okay, so here I am. I'm Frankenstein's monster, and I'm fighting a mummy. So first of all, I mean, let's critique the mummy's approach here. I think there's a lot that's wrong here because first of all, he has tiny T-Rex arms and he's a mummy. So I posit that as he was being wrapped up in his mummy wrappings, that they can't get underneath the tiny arms and separate the tiny arms from the body. So I think when they would mummy wrap a T-Rex with the tiny arms, they're wrapping the arms in there. So he can't even get his arms out to get a shiny rock or to get me. And
Game
on top
changer.
of that, he picks
That's
up,
not the game.
exactly. He can't even use the tiny arms because they're wrapped up in the wrappings.
You can't
So
change my anatomy.
Even if he does manage to pick up a shiny rock, right? He's holding it in his hands, and all of his wrappings are dropping in front of the shiny rock anyway. So they're blocking all the sunlight from hitting it, and they're blocking the light from reflecting off the shiny rock into me to be distracted.
He would have wrappings. I can see that.
It's all wrappings because he's a mummy. So now, here's what I'm going to do. I know that he could walk through walls, so I'm going to bring him out into a giant open area. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep it local. I'm going to bring him to Brooklyn on Atlantic Avenue. Oh, I'm going to bring him right outside the Barclays Center where Justin Bieber has a concert tonight. And I hear him warming up, and as I hear Justin Bieber warming up his voice, that's when I see the mummy. That's when the mummy catches my attention. So when I hear Justin singing "Baby, Baby, Baby, Oh Baby," and I see the mummy, I make the connection, and I think the mummy is here to attack Justin Bieber. So that's when my crazy Frankenstein strength comes out, and I'm able to pick up the mummy over my head and just walk him over to the subway station and toss him down onto the subway tracks in Brooklyn so that he gets run over by the train. Maybe he hits the third rail and all of his wrappings go up in fire and he dies a horrible death in the middle of the subway station on Atlantic Avenue.
You know what? Dan just Super Zero reported you.
No, he did not. No, he did not. The shiny lights of the Justin Bieber sign totally destroys your whole thing right there. Justin Bieber playing live tonight. You're just staring there the whole time. I just running laps around you. You don't even notice because you're just
he's going to Brooklyn. He's definitely going to be distracted by flashing lights.
Yeah, there we go.
Wait a second. If you look
actually the Barclays Center,
big problem.
But if you look at the Barclays Center, it has that like artificial rusted look on the outside, so the light can't reflect off of it because of the rust. It's what Jay-Z wanted. That's how he designed it.
If anything, you screw yourself. You put me in front of more shiny objects than I.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that. So aren't you? You're in front of the person you love most in the world, but also lots of shiny things. I'm sure Justin Bieber might wear a shiny suit, or there's lights going like crazy.
I didn't consider the lights.
Super
on the
distractions.
Yes.
Damien for his case there. That's what I want to bring up. Damien, what's yours?
Well, I don't know.
It's okay if you have nothing.
I got nothing.
Okay, guys, fans at home, it is time to vote. Who do you think should win this? Should it be the Frankenstein that is a believer and distracted by shiny things, which is Dan, or should it be Ryan, who is a mummy, has tiny T-Rex arms, and can walk through solid objects? Who wins this super fight?
The train can't even hit me. It comes, I'm just like, nope.
I don't know if you're just like ethereal. I think if you choose to walk through a wall that's blocking your path, I think that's when your powers activate.
My middle name, Ethereal.
Mummy Ethereal Aquafreda.
There we go.
That's what the E is for.
MEA. Mia.
The votes are beginning. Here they come.
What is wrong with you people?
Joshua.
1 for Dan. 2 for Dan.
All right.
Rain said they both kind of blew it, but I guess Ryan blew it less and wins. Ryan gets one. It is 2-1.
Think about all the shininess in Brooklyn. He brought himself to Shiny Central.
It's not Midtown Manhattan. It's not 42nd Street. It's Atlantic Avenue.
Saren Forrest says Ryan. It is now 2-2.
That was a bad decision.
The train tracks are shiny. The subway is shiny. Everything is shiny.
Yeah, because you know what? I was gonna vote Dan, but I think I might vote Ryan because the beginning was all about how it made no sense how he was getting the shiny things, but now you're at a place where that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
It's tough.
Yeah.
They both really,
I'm gonna vote Ryan. It's 2-3 Ryan.
Very tough.
And I wanted to vote before Damien, so Damien has to struggle with the last vote.
I have to struggle now. Ryan's whole plan, like, kind of centered on the fact that he was using his arms. He had to use his arms to pick up a shiny object.
Right, and he can't really use them.
And
Not the whole plan.
But you had to use your arms to, like, grab him and everything. I don't know. It was like a lot of.
All I needed was him distracted. He cannot do anything to me if he's staring at a Justin Bieber sign. Especially he multiplied the distraction by putting himself in front of a Justin Bieber sign.
He definitely.
Mr. Wright, so what is he gonna do basically with his small arms? Like, how is he gonna?
I could kick still. I have legs. I don't even need to use my arms.
Wasn't part of your plan at all. You didn't tell us.
I did. I know. I did say that I go behind
Too
him.
late for that now, Ryan. It's too late.
Too
All
late.
right, Dan gets my vote. Sorry, Ryan.
What? Wait.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
It is a tie.
No, it's not.
no.
Dan won.
Roll off.
No, it's a tie. It's I voted for Ryan, and Damien voted for Dan. It's a 3-3.
Yeah, but then Mr. R. Van said it would have to be Dan at the end.
Oh, I missed that. So that is it. Dan takes it.
Oh,
Very close. Congratulations,
Yes.
Dan. How do you feel, Dan?
so close.
I feel vindicated. I feel I went with my local roots. I went with Brooklyn, and it paid off for me. Thank you, everybody.
Barely paid off.
Barely.
Okay, so it looks like it's me versus Damien in our second and final fight of the night. Let's put these other cards aside. Let's go to the old deck. Have them full face down. Damien, you choose 1 or 2.
1.
Damien, you are a samurai.
Ooh.
And I am Conan.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Awesome.
Those are good fun pulls, right? Here we go. Since it's me pulling it, Damien, I'll let you choose every time first. 1 or 2.
1. Uh-oh.
Damien, you are elderly.
Oh, yes.
And I am armed with a trident.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
I literally thought there's no way Damien could lose, and then you're Conan.
So old.
And here it comes.
O'Brien.
1 or 2.
I'm sticking with 1.
Damien is also armed with a super glue fire hose.
Ooh,
Wow.
Okay.
And I, the bottom half is blank. Play another character card from hand.
Wow.
Here it comes.
Electric.
It's from last week, though. It's from last week. Let's do it again.
We had that one last week.
That was exactly me last week. I'll let you go. Oh, no, that was Catherine last week.
Somebody.
I can't believe I'm pulling the same cards. There's like 1,000 cards here.
Billionaire Playboy.
The bottom half of me is a billionaire playboy.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is it. It is Damien, ladies and gentlemen, who is a samurai, who is elderly and armed with a super glue fire hose. And I am Conan, armed with a trident, and the bottom half of me is a billionaire playboy. Damien, you can go first.
All right. This is
What you
no
want?
problem. No, I want to go first. This is no problem. As an elderly person, I would be up extremely early in the morning because, as you know, most elderly people are up extremely early in the morning,
True.
especially
Gotta
much
pee.
earlier than at least the bottom half of some billionaire playboy. They would never be out of bed before who knows what's up. But anyway, as the early riser that I am, I would have plenty of time to completely surround their whole house and their whole every place that they live with with super glue from my awesome super glue hose. I would set the greatest trap in their whole house. I would super glue like the whole house so that as soon as they got up, they would be caught in glue for sure. Absolutely captured. Their whole house I would cover everywhere. I would have so much time because, as you know, elderly people, I'd be up very early. And, it'd be great. Like, I would have plenty of time. I could just take my time. I would super glue the whole place up. All ready. You'd be stuck in there. There'd be no place you could go. Totally defeated. I would cut off all the oxygen to the whole house, the whole thing. And that's it. You would just, by the time, forget it. You're done in there. You just be done. That'd be it. That'd be the end of it.
Okay, I have a question. So, does your guy have enough time? He has time,
so
right?
much time because he's going to be up so much earlier than you because he's very elderly and he has to get up many times.
Okay.
Most especially very early in the morning.
Yes, Dan, got it. Any questions you want to ask? Dan, you're muted.
Oh boy,
They're
this
cutting
isn't
him off.
Roll and Rumble yet. Okay, here's a question: if it's Conan, like when he's a barbarian king.
Well, you should really just ask Damien his side. You can ask me. I'm saying we should ask Damien.
I'm not
He didn't
asking
even
you.
get to go yet.
Yeah, I didn't go yet. I didn't do anything yet.
Can I ask my question?
Yeah,
And then you're going to ask me another question later?
I'm not asking you a question.
this counts. Oh, he's asking me.
Damien,
All right,
Damien,
great.
Conan is a barbarian king. If he lives in a big castle, it's going to be heavily guarded. If you wake up early in the morning, how are you going to get past the guards?
Well, I would probably wait until he was on, an away mission of sorts, like when he was like out camping in a tent, something like that would be really easy to pull this quest off if I did that.
So you're gonna track him and follow him.
I mean, that's one way I could do this.
Well, you got to tell him about the way you did do it already.
Yeah, I already did it.
You show up at my
Already
home.
done.
That's what you told
I
him.
already did it.
You show up at my home. I'm pretty sure you had plenty of time to pull it off.
He had so much time because of his elderliness. Yeah.
Ryan, do you have any questions for this old man over here?
I do. Maybe I missed it. Is there a fire element to your hose, and did I miss it?
No, it's
Isn't it a fire glue hose?
Super glue.
said super
The
glue.
fire hose.
Fire. Oh,
So
like
it's that-
fire.
It's like a
It's
giant
like-
fire hose.
I
that
thought for
much.
some reason I was thinking like fire also. I'm like, can't you light them on fire and then glue them in?
That's not necessary because he won't have much oxygen in there after the whole place is covered with glue.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question, and you've answered it perfectly.
Awesome. You're welcome.
Can
My
you burn
plan
him?
is perfect.
Okay.
His death is
Perfect.
just inevitable.
Okay, here is so I am Conan. I'm armed with a trident at all times. I'm also a billionaire playboy. So basically, this is modern times, my friend. Yeah, it's modern times, but I have an army of people loyal to me, and they're up all hours of the night and everything else. So I'm in good shape because I'm a playboy, and I have all the money in the world, all the gadgets in the world, the guns in the world. I'm heavily fortified, and I hang out, having a good time in my my fortress over here. So it's not a really big deal when I'm told that there is a sneaky samurai old man trying to bring his hose into the ground somewhere. So if one of the 50 guards that I have out there, the cameras, all security, the gates, if all these people don't stop you, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. It doesn't really matter that you have a hose. You're probably going to trip over that hose. And, I'm not too worried about it. And then when you get, let's say that you were even to get to me, I'm in my prime, man. I have my trident, and I don't know what you're gonna do. So I think this is an easy one. I feel confident. I feel confident in my ability as Conan, and in the billions of dollars protecting me. That your old prostate and your old hose.
All right.
Can't get me.
That's ridiculous. And you're not.
I would now like to accept questions.
You're assuming your character is way smarter than they are.
You assume your character has so much time. You probably got to go to the
I
doctor.
do, and I have age on my side. Let me tell you.
Well, here's a question for Conan. If I mean he's armed with a super glue fire hose, right?
Right.
So even if you have like 50 people protecting you at all times, I mean he could just spray them down with super glue and they become completely ineffective. How are your guards going to overcome the super glue?
Sure. Have you ever seen a fireman handle a hose, Dan?
Have I ever seen a fireman handle a hose? Sure.
Mm-hmm. How many firemen handle the hose, Dan?
I don't know. I mean, like they have to like unwind it and then like they have to feed it across.
Right, but how many people does it take to hold the pressure of a hose?
Magic.
A few.
Quite a few. Now, this guy is not in his prime. He's older, but somehow, not only is he doing that, he's bringing this hose over my security, around all the guards who are just going to take him out. Like, this is not a big deal.
I also have unlimited glue. I mean, come on. It's magic.
Do you have unlimited glue? I don't know if you do.
Unlimited glue.
And where's it plugged up to? Is it coming from?
That's why it's magic.
truck?
It's not plugged into anything. It's just.
So is that sounds like a problem?
I have infinite glue.
You should have plugged that in before you came over.
I didn't need to. I have infinite glue.
But the question is, if he can spray the glue onto your guards, how are they going to overcome that?
They cannot.
I think the other guards can just use their bullets and kill him.
No.
Bullets?
We're not talking about
He doesn't have bullets. It's Conan. You don't have bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have bullets. You talking? The other one was Frankenstein and a mummy. What was your problem with that one?
Because Conan doesn't have bullets. He didn't live till the time of bullets.
Conan is They also didn't have billions of dollars. Conan is $1 billion.
He doesn't have you actually are in a tent. You think that you like are a billionaire, but only from the legs down.
Maybe I'd be a 10 if I was poor, but I'm not
so
poor.
You don't really know. Like your head has no idea how poor you actually are. Conan has no idea. Conan is living in a fantasy world. Okay, you're in a fantasy world. You're in.
Conan had saved princesses
and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die because I'm suffocating. I have no.
I figured out to plug in your super hose with super useless glue.
So the fact is that that Scrow's magic samurai glue is already working.
Just because you're an old man, you're delirious, you call it magic, doesn't mean it's going to work, my friend.
It's already
all
done.
Bullets is going to shoot you to death.
You're clearly hallucinating from lack of oxygen.
I mean, and you only have the legs of a billionaire. That's it.
Right. That's why up top he's got nothing going on.
He got the heart of Conan. I mean, come on.
He's covered in glue, and it's all he can do. And see you later.
This is wild.
Brian, do you have anything you want to say?
No, I mean my question is similar to Dan's. Like, if he just glues everything around you, like everything, your guards can't move, your door can't open. What options do you have?
So you're thinking that he's going to glue everything that can stop him or hurt him before anybody could do anything, is what you're saying?
Pretty much. I feel like they're not going to suspect it because he's elderly. They're just going to think they just think it's like a wise old samurai, and out of nowhere they're just stuck.
So if a guy walked up to like somebody's billionaire fortress and they have a super hose of super glue, no one's gonna stop him. He's just gonna defy all odds, go through all of them, and then get to the final boss, Conan, who has a trident, and kill him, all because he has that tube of glue.
Well, honestly, I don't even think he needs to get to the final boss. I just think the final boss can't get to him and then dies of suffocation. I
don't have to get to him. He clearly told us about how he snuck into my home and tried to kill me.
That's right. Covered in glue.
Yeah, I mean, there are some, like, people would probably try and stop it, but the glue is just devastating.
Yeah, the glue is devastating, but it's a good point that I don't know if the old man can handle. It's a fire hose. If it was just like
magic,
a glue gun, I'd say, okay.
It's my personal magic weapon.
When firemen go out to put a fire out, you need multiple firemen on the hose.
But it's not a fire hose. It's
maybe a D20 roll.
I feel like a D20 roll kind of ruins it because this is about the debate.
Glue hose.
It does say super glue fire hose though.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go to the fans right now and see what they have to say. Okay, so Todd says, does he have to go in your castle? I imagine like Street Fighter 2 are locked in combat stage, except that's what he did. He went to my home before we could even have the battle. That
it was
his
actually
choice.
a tent. It wasn't a castle.
No, you keep calling it a tent, but you're so old that you don't even realize it's a castle. Steven says, would super glue have the recoil with the viscosity involved? I think, if it doesn't, it would be heavier. And, at 100%, if he's spraying it with velocity, the kickback is going to be enormous. It's going to be the same thing if it works for water.
He's a samurai, though.
It's either coming out slow and therefore easy to carry, or it's coming out with projectile, and then it throws him across the room. In both scenarios, he's going to be shot. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, it makes sense.
Right. There's a defense to that. It makes sense.
It makes sense. It's a magic glue hose.
Derek says, I assume it works like the hoses in Ghostbusters 2, but magic.
Yes.
Mithar says, as he is old, it's very heavy. If he had said he sprayed Conan with the hose or he set up a trap.
I did say I said trap.
Reigns says, Conan was with billionaire legs is an arm day pro with a ton of chicken, which you eat instead of doing leg day. Steve says, it makes me think of that episode from Tales of the Crypt where the old dude has the young bodybuilder's body, but old dude legs. Oh, I never seen that. That sounds like this. Mr. I wouldn't. That means he had legs, couldn't hold the weight of the upper body.
That's right. You would try to get up and fall.
Okay, there's all our stuff right now. Let's do the voting. Is it going to be Samurai who is elderly, armed with a super glue fire hose, or is it Conan armed with a trident, billionaire playboy? Votes. Cast them now. Dan, you're first on the list.
Yeah, this is tough. Just because the glue is so powerful. It's a super glue fire hose, and I feel like any kind of threat can be kind of just easily thwarted. But I don't know. Like, I think you're right about the fire hose, that it's just like one elderly samurai. Like, he doesn't have a team of samurai to help him with the fire hose. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have to go with Conan just because of that fire hose. Just might be too difficult for an elderly samurai to.
Why are you sorry? Why are you sorry that you have to vote for Tony? You have to be sorry
because he knows
it's like,
that I'm right.
Because it's a powerful thing to have a like imagine having that weapon in D&D. Like who's going to stop you?
Listen. I'm not saying the game's fair. I'm just saying I won.
Ryan, what do you got?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna go with Damien. I think that the glue, even if it wasn't as accurate because he couldn't handle the hose, I think he's a wise samurai and has figured out how to leverage things and use his weight to control things that are a little unstable and try and overpower him. So I'm going to give his I'm going to keep that in my mind when I make the vote, and it's going to be Damien.
Okay, so it's 1-for-1. Sarah Foria says Damien. Sarah Foria, think of this samurai. He should be working with honor. If he doesn't act honorably, he couldn't be a samurai.
Exactly.
Is super gluing guys honorable?
Because you're evil. You're an evil, bad man. Very bad.
Rain says Damien wins. B. Mac and Moore says Damien wins.
Yeah.
So that's 3. It's immediately 4-1.
Oof.
Spud says if chicken leg Conan with a trident for samurai, he could even ditch the hose and win 1v1. What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like Spud is voting for Damien. Let us know definitively. Sarah Force says I hate my keyboard, not keeping up my typing. Mr. R says damn is hard. The hose would be too heavy. Tony wins.
Oh.
It is now 2-4.
No.
Derek changed his mind. Conan has no need to fight fair, but Damien as a samurai is honor bound to fight fair.
It's
3-3. Wow.
Evil.
It is now 3-3.
It's evil Conan.
Erithos, you didn't vote yet, so I think this vote counts. Vote for Damien and the Bushido hose.
Bushido hose.
So that's a vote. It is 4-3.
And then Spud's got to clarify.
Yeah, it's up to you, Todd, or anyone else out there has not voted. It's time to vote. Or Todd, take your vote in. He's saying Damien.
Yeah.
And that is it. Damien wins. The old samurai with the hose wins. Damien, tell us how you feel.
Feeling great. Not day over 80. Feels great to be a samurai.
Congratulations on his win. You definitely earned. An old man. You got people to believe an old man with a super glue, super hose should win in a battle.
You convinced him.
Todd says he has faith in a samurai. That's what it comes down to. Oh, he says also, anime has taught me that old fighters are more experienced than the hot-headed young ones. Also, true things. Correct. That is it, guys. Thank you for playing Super Fight with us. That was fun. That was a good time. It's always interesting. And how the hell did we draw all the cards from last week? I mixed them all into this big thing. Look at this. Somehow I drew the cards again. I must go to the exact same spot both times. That is it, guys. Let's go on to what's coming up next. This is we're gonna go do a nerd review for the show Moon Knight, because it ended a little bit ago, and we're kind of excited about everything that's coming out right now, and there's a bunch of stuff that we can talk about for sure. So let's get ready to do it, and here we go. Welcome to the show, guys. What's up? This is the Nerd Review. I'm Tony Hansen, joined by the rest of the crew, and today we are looking at Moon Knight. Moon Knight on Disney Plus. We have Todd joining us right now. Todd, welcome. Todd. And Moon Knight was pretty good. I have to say that I think some people were turned off in the beginning because it was a very weird first episode. Not weird in a bad way. Just an unusual first episode. People didn't know what to think. And I think some people got turned off right away. Catherine was turned off right away from watching it. I know my wife was kind of like, she wouldn't have watched it if I didn't encourage her to watch it. How did everyone here feel about it? Let's just talk about the first episode, like the intro to the show.
Yeah, it was a little, obviously intentionally confusing, but it's tough to stick with the show when like they present something to you and it's not really clear exactly what's happening. Like it's either going to like hook you and say, oh, I got to watch this. Like I got to find out what's happening to these characters, or it's going to turn you off if you have no patience and you're just going to say like, nah, I don't know what's happening. I don't have the patience for the show. I'm going to leave. But right. Yeah, but I think the first episode like did a good job of kind of introducing some characters and it did hook me when basically with his missing time. Like I kind of wanted to find out what was happening. I wanted to find out what Harrow's deal was, and I wanted to find out what was what was happening with Steven and the missing time. So I thought it was good. I thought the first episode at least did its job.
Yeah, I liked the first episode. I liked the confusion with just all the fight scenes, and then he just destroys his enemies, but you don't know how. I also liked the whole thing with the date, and you don't really know what's going on with that. I feel like it left a lot for you to wonder and want to find out, like, all right, how is he destroying these guys? Like, I think that was the coolest thing, because he really didn't know what the heck was going on, and like it was like he was gonna die, and then out of nowhere he's just destroying everybody. So for me, that was like, all right, I guess I wasn't as impatient maybe as some people. I didn't care about not knowing. I wanted to know though, so it kept me hooked.
Yeah, it's fun. Todd, Damien?
Damien, go ahead.
I was very hooked in for the first episode. Like, I just thought it was really great the way that they sort of just unraveled the story and kind of led you down all these different thoughts of, what's going on here and all these questions. And I thought it was just awesome. It totally hooked me. I loved the series. That was great.
Yeah, I was also hooked from like the first episode. I thought it was like the kind of confusing storytelling. They could have done a little bit more of that, but that's just me being a little bit of a critic. Liam said it the first time we did it. I liked the way it was shot, and it was giving us that same kind of uncertainty that Steven was dealing with in his whole life. There was little nods to the end. Now that we've seen the end of it, there was nods to it in the first episode of things that would be coming up, like Taweret, the one-finned goldfish, which was probably like the biggest question is, how did the goldfish get its fin back? Was he always imagining it with one fin? Did it always have the two? Mark get another one? I don't know. That never got answered for me, but I did enjoy, and it did make me want to watch it more. I like that it didn't just start off like Justice League, where they introduced them and they were just already in and fighting and just going over everybody's, big slobber knocker fights right out of the gate. I just like the development more.
Did we find out really a lot about the fish? Because I was confused about that too. So I guess you have to assume that the fish is being changed by the third figure.
I remembered in the episode where I think it was the second to last episode, they show his brother drawing a fish with one fin, and he comments on that. So I don't know if it was like Steven, like a machination of his mind, just seeing the one fin because that was what his brother did. His brother drew the last time he saw him, and he didn't even know about it at that time. So like I don't know, that was just like baked in, just like he was into French poetry and Egypt, like his wife, Mark's wife, was.
Right.
And then, another thing that they like, kind of like foreshadow, the girl in the museum in the first episode asked him how he was judged when he went to the Field of Reeds. And he's like, I'm not dead. Like I never went to the Field of Reeds, but then he goes to the Field of Reeds.
That's right.
That the Field of Reeds, to talk about it in the order that we're discussing it, was wild. Just interesting. And then he goes into the place where basically they have to balance the scales, and otherwise like he'll be taken over by the land. He turns like stone, looks like. And when Steven gets taken in by the stone and such, and Mark goes back for him, it's bold because I remember when that was happening, I was thinking about like he doesn't really know. Like in real life, you might want to talk, and find out the actual information about what's going to happen if I go down there. Like, is there a chance? Like he just goes.
He has no idea. He's totally giving himself up to that mission, to not leaving Mark behind. No, Steven behind. Sorry, but yeah, I thought the same thing. It was like that was stepping into the abyss, like him going back.
Yeah.
Completely, that could have been it. Right there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead, Todd.
No, I concede.
I was going to say, like, the way the show was going, too, like, the way they presented the whole balancing of the scales, and, like, you have to go back in time, and you have to, like, relive these memories, and Steven has to face how he was created and that he was created, like that he was a creation of Mark. And then like when he sees it and when Steven is pulled off the boat and he's turned to stone and he's basically like, you get the impression that Steven is no longer like an alternate personality that Mark has. That's when his scales are balanced. So like the way the show presented it up to that point, it was almost like, okay, like now Mark is only going to be living with himself, whether he's in the Field of Reeds or wherever it is he's going. He's not going to have this other personality. And when his scales were balanced, I thought they were treating this as like, okay, this is a positive thing. Like maybe looking back at his past, Mark is able to kind of like reconcile everything that happened in his life and kind of like move forward. But like they didn't go that way at all. They went in the opposite direction where like Mark almost embraced Steven and like everything that Steven meant to him. And like, he showed his appreciation for Steven, like shielding him from all the abuse from his mom. So like he showed that appreciation by going back to the sand, which I thought was great, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that whole episode was really heavy. Like imagine reliving all the trauma you had in your life, but now also showing another version of yourself and having him experience it for the first time. I liked when he finally did go to the Field of Reeds. You could like tell he was a person that was in love with his own misery. Like they were like, "Here's paradise that awaits you forever," and he was like, "Nah, I'm going back for my bud." Like that whole episode, they were like, I don't even know if it's because that's like when the first trauma happens that he's locked in reacting to those things like a child. Like when he didn't want it, he started hitting himself and all that kind of stuff going on. And him and Steven and Mark were both like hitting each other, hugging like little kids. Like their best friend. They like that was clearly the episode they became closer friends and understood each other. And then even subsequently when they were fighting, they were more in sync with it like the whole time. And also when they kept getting pulled out of the reality, the higher reality where there was Dr. Harrow talking to them and all the different things, it was when Mark was in states of like enhanced emotional reactions. He was the one to get pulled into Dr. Harrow's. And then when Steven did that as well, he was now talking with him, and I just thought that was good storytelling. The way they had whoever was the most emotionally unstable or feeling, the most emotional at the moment was the one that was, exactly like they were saying, dealing with the organizing principle.
Right.
I think it's wild to see the difference between Marvel at the beginning and Marvel now. I won't talk about it yet, but I saw Doctor Strange recently, and I'll just say that the movie is very cerebral, and Moon Knight is very cerebral. It's very deep, and you can get lost in it. And you can watch it for its surface stuff and enjoy it, and its action and things like that, and it's great in that way as well. But also like the level of depth that Marvel is going to, because I think they realize they need to, because it's like this is where they're now making content for superhero fans that have seen this stuff before, and I think they've always been made sure they're one step ahead from the beginning by not giving us all the origin stories, because there was a time where we were just sick. We're still kind of sick of them, but we'll watch them in creative ways. Sick of origin stories, so they skip them when they can. And so I think they're just very much still on the ball with things. What do you guys think about that?
I agree. I remember thinking back in 2008, thinking and having conversations with our friends and saying, do people really care about Iron Man? Are people really going to want to go see this movie? And immediately I was like, yeah, they do. But I remember thinking, like, Iron Man is not Spider-Man, like he's not as universally, loved as Spider-Man is. But now I think, since 2008, since Iron Man, since the Avengers, since phases 1, 2, and 3, and now we're moving into phase 4. Like you said, Tony, they've explored so many different characters and so many different stories, and like nothing's flopped. Everything has hit. And it seems like every character that they introduce is connecting in some way. So they could just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and introducing like more and more, traditionally obscure characters. Like I don't think your average person on the street would say like, oh yeah, I know all about Moon Knight. I can tell you what he is and who he is. But like, they introduce a series, Moon Knight, on Disney Plus, and plenty of people watch it. I think I enjoyed it. I think it was very well done. Certainly like high production value, and I think we're just gonna keep seeing more. She-Hulk is coming out. We have obviously more movies coming out. But yeah, like the longer it goes on for, the more they're gonna have to keep digging. The more characters they're gonna have to keep introducing, and like I think they're gonna have to like tell stories that are different and even present stories in a different way, like they did with Moon Knight.
Yeah, even from like that phase 1 of Marvel where Iron Man came out and everything, like for a time when you knew what rhythm they were kind of going in, you'd see someone new come in and you'd be like, oh great, now I gotta sit through their origin story movie before we can get back into the action of whatever else is happening. And like I like the way they did it with Moon Knight, where you learn like Steven is a great character for you to follow because he's also learning about everything brand new as it's happening. And same thing with like Scarlet Scarab, whoever his wife is supposed to be. Like they kind of rewrote her character from the comics, and like Scarlet Scarab is some like really obscure type character, kind of going with what Dan's saying. They got to bring people from the bottom of the barrel, just to not even just bottom of the barrel like quality wise, but just kind of obscure to get people into it. And they know they have the money to do it, and they have some creative geniuses over there working on these good deep stories that basically whoever it is, I know it'll be done pretty well. They all have interesting backstories and just villains to fight and situations to kind of work off of.
Right. And it's like, they can keep it, as long as we buy it, we buy into it, I should say, they'll keep giving us these new stories. And then I'm sure they're thinking of, okay, when we've gotten to that point, then we need to put it back on that track of like the next story building up to like a super villain or something like that, because then it's like they can be on reaction, but we're not in reaction mode. We're actually on creation mode, like in Marvel. It's like we're creating new threads, new stories, new things are happening. And then it'll be like when you're going into Infinity War, where it's like, now let's watch those characters we made react to the world and try to survive it. And then perhaps to go back to that creation mode after. But, we're definitely in a very interesting time with all the content that's coming out. There's so much content coming out. And like we said, they're going into deeper characters and characters that I constantly think I'm very worried for that. Ant-Man I was worried for before. To say that now sounds insane because of how amazing it is. But I was with Guardians of the Galaxies. I was worried for. I was even worried for Thor 2 which was a little shaky to me. But I watched it again; it wasn't bad. It's pretty good. But yeah, it's different times right now. Damien, what do you expect from the future from Marvel to like keep up and to keep things fun and engaging?
Oh man. Well, I wish I knew exactly, but I hope that they keep trying to sort of push the limits and do things that we haven't seen before. I felt like we got that a bit with Moon Knight. Moon Knight struck me as a series that I hadn't really seen anything like that before. I wasn't familiar with the character ahead of time. So I was kind of learning as you were going along with the series, but like a lot of people, I'm sure. And I just felt like the level of like production and like just the way that they just crafted that show was just really well done and made it a pleasure to watch. And like, and also it felt like something I hadn't seen before. So if they could continue to do that and make stuff that's entertaining and exciting and fun to watch, that again, and also challenges you. That was like the other thing I loved about Moon Knight right off the bat. That first episode, like everyone was saying, all these questions that were coming up. Well, I liked that they didn't answer all the questions right away. I liked that not everything was just kind of just laid out for you. You didn't have to go through an origin and all that kind of thing, like people were saying. So because it was different, I think that's a big strength, and I'd like to see more things that are different, that they push that sort of level of production.
This was truly something where they brought you into like not even the middle of the story. It felt like they brought you into like the story from 3/4 of the way through and just play catch up as you're getting through it to the end. Ryan, speaking of catch up, Ryan's been watching all the movies, has been catching up with the rest of the world. Ryan, what are you up to on your chronological watch?
So I kind of destroyed the order a little bit because of just things getting in the way of me being able to sit down and watch it. But I think next is Black Panther in my watching playlist. But I just started and I got halfway through WandaVision, the show. I did go to the movies Saturday night, I believe, to go see Doctor Strange. So that was great, and I'm excited. I would love to see if they somehow bring Moon Knight into the fold with some of the other Marvel characters. And if, like you said, they're kind of in this creation mode right now. So if they tell the story of everybody, maybe like a few different characters, and then make another Avengers style super movie with all these people, I feel like there's so much that could be done with just the Moon Knight character because of the 3 split personalities, and we still don't even know about Jake Lockley at all. I saw something online that I don't know. I was talking to somebody who also likes Marvel movies, and they weren't sure if it was just an error or if it was an accidental leak. But apparently, Marvel put out something after the season finale saying that it was a season finale instead of a series finale, which they kept saying it was just like a series and it was going to be done after this one thing. They put out something after Moon Knight was over, and they said the season finale. So if they do a second season and go more into Jake, which I don't know if they will, but it would be cool, unless they just told us that story and then we get to see Jake in future movies with like maybe another Avengers style movie, but the next gen with like Doctor Strange and everybody that movie brings along. That'd be pretty dope.
So it's interesting. It's very tricky to see, like, so let's talk about, we everything we saw and we learned from Moon Knight. We also could talk about everything we saw from Loki and what we saw from WandaVision. Does it make things tricky to see like season 2s of certain shows? I feel like for me, I don't know if I want to watch a WandaVision 2. You have to convince me.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be really hard to, it wouldn't have the same draw that it did in the beginning, because it was like zany and out there and kind of weird and hitting all the different nostalgia points that everybody liked to see. You couldn't really replicate that again.
And I feel like I don't want to give too much away, but I feel like the WandaVision show served its purpose, especially if you go see Doctor Strange. It'll kind of piece other stuff together. So I feel like a season 2 might not make that much sense, unless if you saw Doctor Strange, maybe it could then elaborate on something else. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't be like opposed to it, but I think it doesn't make sense as of now.
Yeah, I feel like WandaVision was a whole lot of establishing her motives for Doctor Strange, like for that movie to come out. Moon Knight, I feel like gave a lot of nods to like having a season 2, and I think if anything, they were just like, all right, we'll try it for a season, see what kind of reaction we're going to get out of it, because the way they ended it too was really dramatic. I don't know if we're going to do spoilers or anything like that, or if I just shouldn't say it.
For
the end
Moon Knight?
the end of Moon Knight.
I believe we could talk to it, guys. Spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. God.
I was just about to blurt it out really quickly. I did feel that panic, like you started counting down. I was like, quick, I got to say it all. I did like at the end as they show them wheeling out Harrow, which I didn't mention. I really liked Ethan Hawke in the role. He like disappeared into it and didn't.
Yeah,
he did a really good job. But like they're wheeling him out, and they get in the nice limo, and then all of a sudden Khonshu has a really nice suit, like Steven suit style, and then they show Jake Lockley pull the gun, and anybody that knows of him from the comics and knows the name, they're like, oh, Jake Lockley. And then all of a sudden they made him Spanish too. Like that's even more drama on top of it. And he's like, now he speaks a foreign language. Let's see what that's all about. He's, like the backstory was different for basically everybody from the comics. And I wasn't like a huge diehard. I saw him in a few things, which like Tangent, he has a personality where he thinks he's Spider-Man. So I was like, that's interesting to see if anything happens with that. But I did like the way they set it up. And it looks like it's big primed for a season 2, but they wanted to see what kind of reaction they'd get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems for us like it's easy, but I'm sure they're watching with bated breath, to see like how people are going to respond to all these shows. But like the acting, it was every show so far. There's so many great moments for acting. This series was like A+. Every single person was doing such a great job. Oscar Isaac, just simply. I'm just when you're. It's one thing to watch something and then to watch it and know that you're just being impressed while you're watching him flip the personalities. Right. And you have to remind yourself, this is one person doing this.
Yeah, I don't know if we spoke about it on this show. I don't think we did because we reviewed the first 2 episodes, but I watched some reviews on them, and like he goes into so much detail to separate the 2 characters. And then there's one point when they come into, they meet, I forget her name, but the hippo lady.
Talweddit?
Yes, Talweddit. Yeah. When they're both like screaming, but like the 2 mannerisms, like one of them is screaming, trying to wave, right? He's like terrified, and the other one's just like, I was like,
I watched that like twice to just see the difference.
He's Oscar is a legend.
Job.
He's great. He's done so many different things now, from villains to Moon Knight to Poe Dameron.
Yeah, this is his 3rd foray into Marvel, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes. Yeah.
What else has he done with Marvel?
He was
in X-Men.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was Spider-Man 2099 and Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now Moon Knight.
So they're using him every way possible.
So you said there's a Moon Knight character. There's a personality of his that believes he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, and one that thinks he's Wolverine.
that could blend everything together so well. That'd be amazing.
Right? Yeah, like Spider-Man's still around, and Wolverine. Like, there's been Disney just got like the old legacy X-Men movies on there, and everybody like always wants to. Tony, I believe you even said it. You just want more Hugh Jackman.
I just want. Every movie I watch, I'm waiting for Hugh Jackman to like just be in the movie. And like I won't be happy until I see it done.
Yeah, like every after credits now, you're just waiting for him. You're like, oh.
I literally am like that every time. I'm just waiting for it. Yes. So that's interesting. So let's wrap it up. Let's give a final number from 1 to 10 on the show. Let's keep it short. Tell people why it's that number that you think it is, and why they should watch it if it's good. Todd, you go first.
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 or 16 out of 20 if we're doing it out of 20. I remember we were doing that for a bit. I thought it was shot well, it was scored well, it was cast well. The story was told in a way that didn't seem like it was shoving anything down your throat. And if anything, you were like, all right, I remember that from the beginning. And everybody gave good performances, and it set us up for more content that I'm excited to see. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
Damien.
All right, I am also giving it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this series, and I just thought it was fantastic. Just great storytelling, great actors, great performances, all that, and just really fun to watch, and kept you questioning yourself the whole way. It was awesome.
Dan.
I will say, I'm going to say closer to 7 out of 10. I thought the fight scenes were awesome. My favorite part of the whole series were the costumes. Moon Knight's costumes and the Gods' costumes I thought were incredible. Same thing. I love Ethan Hawke's acting. I loved Khonshu. He was my favorite character in the whole series, so I would watch season 2 just to see Khonshu. But like in getting to like the 8 or 9 level, it would have to be a series that like really, really hooked me with either one of the characters or one of the stories that I would want to go back and watch it again. But like, despite how good the good parts were, I really feel like I could go without ever seeing it again. Like I saw it once, it was good, and that's enough. So that's 7 out of 10 for me.
Ryan.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I liked it a lot. I was pumped to see after the first 2 episodes. I was hooked. I feel like Oscar Isaac is such a great actor that he could do more with the character, and I want to see him in more roles with it. The show kept me every episode. At the end, I was like, all right, I just gotta wait now for the next one. I'm so used to binging stuff, so I haven't watched a show like this in a while, where I was waiting every week for an episode to come out. So that feeling alone just gives it for me a 9 out of 10.
I think I'm gonna go 8.5 because I can't. I feel like 8 is like a little too low. I feel like 9 for me is a little too generous. So I have to go right in the middle with that 8.5. So I think Oscar Isaac just like made the whole thing. I think if you change that actor out of that role, it would have been a dramatically different movie. But again, everyone around him was as good, in their own ways. The story was interesting, creative, done cleverly. So yeah, solid, very solid. I didn't know what to expect, coming into Moon Knight, and I didn't know about Moon Knight before. I heard of the character, but didn't know anything really about him. So I was pleasantly surprised with the show, and I definitely would watch a season 2 if it came out. I'd be very interested to watch. So that's it, guys. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. Tell us where you put it at. How did you like Moon Knight? Where do you think Marvel's going, and what are you excited for to come up? Is it Wolverine in every movie that comes in? Maybe. Should it be? Maybe. We'll see. So that does it here for the Nerd Review, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Okay, guys, we have one more game to play, so don't go anywhere, guys. It is time for our Wrestling Meets Tabletop game, and we are changing it up. Today is going to be a Session 0. We're going to talk about the changes made to the system, and we're going to play them out. Patreon members, if you're around, you are, as always, welcome to come on, and we'll look over the system together. We're going to do a read-through for the system first, and for those of you that are watching, maybe you'll be able to play in the future and join us and actually come on the show and contribute and be a wrestler in the Audio Digital Federation. So let's bring them on. Todd, you going to hang out or are you going to go?
I'm going to back out after this, but I'll be listening because I want to understand the rules.
Okay, cool. Welcome to Slapshot, who's back. I thought we would say back.
Hello, Slapshot.
Whoa!
Hey guys.
No way. I was sad, to be honest.
Well, I'm still on a bit of a hiatus, but my manager told me we were rehashing the rules, so I thought it was important to come in, make sure I'm familiar with the rules. Commissioner, I'm often full of questions about the rules.
That's good. You should be, yeah.
I do have a few, so I'm back for today. I'll probably be out for the next couple of weeks, but Slapshot will be back for the next season.
How are you enjoying the NHL playoffs, Jace?
Oh, it's incredible. I just, like I said 2 weeks ago, I'm in hockey heaven right now. We actually just saw a rare finishing of a sweep tonight, 4-game sweep, and it was an incredible first round. 5 of the 8 series went to Game 7. A couple of them actually went to overtime Game 7, and if anybody's a hockey fan, there's nothing like overtime playoff hocky. Nothing like
that includes the Rangers, yeah,
at all.
That includes the Rangers too.
Yes, and you see, I'm wearing the orange and black, so I hold a special thank you to the Rangers for knocking out the Penguins. So
Awesome. Okay, Charles Morrison, I guess, is not here today. Let's see. Let's get ready.
But he couldn't get online.
His services.
Oh, service is bad? Gotcha. Okay, no problem. Okay, guys, without further ado, let's go into what we call Roll and Rumble.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to fight in Audio Dungeon Wrestling in Roll and Rumble.
Good evening, Roll and Rumblers. It is time to go over the brand new system of Roll and Rumble. Today is the session 0 for our brand new system. We're going to go over it today and just check it out together and see what we think. So the system, so the many of you on here obviously have access to it already. We've been checking it out, and I'm going to do a brief overview, just going through it. And it's new. It's new even for me. I made this up like 2 weeks ago, so I'll just be re-summarizing myself with it, refamiliarizing myself with it. And that's that. So let's get into it now. Let me share my screen. And here it is. So, guys, this is the new Roll and Rumble system as it stands today. It's similar. You have 8 points. Similar things. We've added wit, of course. You have 8 points and a cap of 4. Okay. So there are skills. I'll go down briefly. There are skills below, all different categories. All these skills now, you must have at least a 3 in that skill, in that stat, I should say, sorry, up top here, to utilize one of those below. Simple as that. So now, let's get into the below. So combat is something that you start off whether you're doing a 1-on-1, a 2-on-2, or a free-for-all match. Combat starts it off, and combat is much harder to affect now. So combat is a bit trickier to actually change it up, alter it, make somebody weaker in. It's a lot harder to change it up and to kind of ruin that person. So let's take a look now into stats, because the stats are pretty much really where it's at. So in all these here, you have a no risk result. You have the risk roll 1, risk roll 2. All this means that is if you win combat, you can then go into strength, wit, technique, fortitude, or charisma, and anything in green you can just do. If you don't want to take the green, you can then go on to the yellow, which means you're rolling against your opponent. So if it's wit, for example, and we're saying we're trying to use a illegal item, or trying to use for the minor effect over here, this means you have to roll wit versus one player to use it on. If you win that, you can do the minor effect, or you can gamble again and go to your risk roll 2 and risk it again for a major effect. If you fail, nothing happens. If you win, the major effect happens. And that's basically the whole system going forth, trying to do something, from the safe option to the riskier option to the riskiest option. If you see white all the way to that means that, for example, like remove recovery and to remove one stat injury. The only way you can get to that is you must risk roll twice. So you have to win a fortitude twice to recover your stats. And basically that's you just trying to get your energy back and keeping off your opponent. So there are those situations where you have to do that.
Question.
Sure.
Can you go back up to fortitude? So I'll use this as the example. So let's say like I win combat and I want to roll fortitude versus fortitude. Let's say before we do that first roll off, do I need to announce whether I'm going for rest or whether I'm going for recovery?
No, because the first combat is always like your stun move. Like a punch in the face, a kick, and then you're going to go for something else. Your strategy comes second.
Right, but so I win combat, but now I say like, all right, I hit you with a body slam. Now let's do fortitude versus fortitude. Boom, I win do I have to say, okay, we'll do fortitude versus fortitude because I'm going for a rest or I'm going for recovery? Like, can I boom? Can I win that first roll and then say, should I risk it again and go for a recovery, or should I risk it again? And
no, once you choose announce fortitude, for example, you're already choosing submission, rest, or recovery.
Do I have to announce?
But does he have to declare whether he's doing rest or recovery before he does the first risk roll? I think is the question.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The second you win combat, you have to then state what you're going for. You slot yourself.
Okay.
I have a question on technique. Use the ropes. The -2 energy, the -4 energy, is that in addition to your strength, or is that that's how much damage you do?
No, it's not in addition. So it has nothing to do with strength. It's just you taking somebody's energy out of them. And it's a way for somebody who's not strength-based to try to get some damage out of them.
Gotcha. What is taunt/aid?
12/8 is when you're on the side, and you're giving a +1 or giving a -1 to somebody else.
Okay, so that's for tag team matches.
Right. If you remember, I wanted the system to kind of favor everyone in every circumstance. So it's like your character is somebody who's great at being a jerk on the sidelines. Like this just built into his character. You know, if you want to be able to affect other matches because that affects things. So that's basically what that is.
Can you put that effect on the sheet like the rest of them?
You talking about definitions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can put that on. No problem. This last one is old definitions.
I see I understand the illegal items. What are legal items?
Table, ladder, chair match.
Okay, so that's just for those specific matches.
Yeah, so if a match is based around items that are okay, then obviously it's fine.
Okay. All right.
So then every item will have a minor effect and a major effect?
Correct.
Cool.
The same rule applies, I'm assuming, like with so like announcing moves. If I go for a combat roll and I hit, like I know we need to announce whether we're going to do fortitude, charisma, technique, but do we also have to still say something, or we risk losing the whole thing?
I think you should say what you're doing from there also. Like we've been doing pretty much. I feel like you guys do that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm putting you into
here and there.
Yeah, I'm putting you into a Boston Crab, and I'm gonna try to get you to tap out and whatever. So I think that you should announce a second move. We can feel it out and see if it's right to kill somebody, because sometimes you want to play the game and get in the flow of it. 100%, you got to start with the move just so we can visualize that. And I think I would encourage you to do the second one too. I don't know if we'll make it mandatory or not. We'll see what's better for gameplay. I imagine we want to do it, so we'll see.
Could you go over this move 1 + 1 favor, both moves +1 favor? What is that about the declaring the two special moves at the, or what? How does that work?
So right now the system is based on finishing your opponent. If you notice under charisma, it's finisher, and then the favor is a big factor. Yeah. So favor is kind of like the plot hammer, or the how much you're beloved, and people want to see you in action, people want to see you win and do better. So favor is that factor. So if you're trying to go for a finisher, then your charisma is going to factor into it, similar like we had finisher before was the whole thing. But also you're going to add in as much of your favor as you want to. Let's say I'm in a match. I'm with a match with Dan, and I'm trying to win, and I have 10 favor on me. I'm going to say, you know what? I don't want to use all of it, but I want to use some of it. It's kind of like hulking up, after he should have lost, and he's riling up the crowd. And he's going to try to win the match. He's going, how much favor, how much influence can you muster from the crowd to win the match? That's kind of what it is. So I can use 5 of that 10. I can use all 10 if I want to on one roll to go for the kill. So now the favor only is earned in a match. It's only kept if you win the match, and it can be carried over to other matches. So you have to be careful. If say you're fighting Damien, and Damien has been winning matches and earning favor and doing all this stuff, and Damien is carrying 15 favor or 20 favor on him. You better watch out, because he's going to try to pin you or do something else or try to take you out. He's a dangerous guy. So it's almost like you have the realistic expectation of the crowd's favorite coming into play, where he's favored to win. If you to beat him, it's going to be a true upset by the system and not by the dungeon master or the commissioner telling you how it's going to go down. So we can get that story with mechanics. So that's basically how it works. Now the moves, move 1, move 2, finisher, that's a way for you to earn favor in the match. Okay, and there's a couple of ways, but so basically you have one move, you name whatever you want. Move 2, name whatever you want. Your finisher, do whatever you want, right? So when you pull off your move, you have to announce your move before you do anything else. You can't do combat and then say, I'm using my move. You have to say, I'm pulling off my move in this one, I'm going for it. If you pull it off, you earn a favor point. You pull the second move, you earn a second favor point. And we may change how many you earn in the future. Right now, you just earn 1 for each.
How many times can you attempt it during the match?
Just once.
Once for each move?
You only hit, yeah.
Once for move 1, once for move 2?
Right, yeah. Don't, I mean, theoretically, you could keep calling it, but not getting into it. I would just tell you not to do that. So you just call your move once, call your second move, and then these are your opportunities to earn favor towards the match. And maybe you want to use it to end the match. You can do that.
That's another question I had. So when you're earning favor, And let's say like you win the match, and during the match you've earned whatever, let's say 2 favor, right? Now when the match is over, when you win the match, you bank those 2 favor, right?
Right.
If you lose the match, you don't bank though, you lose those 2 favor, correct?
No, yeah, you would keep whatever favor you had before. That is what it is. Like if you had 3 going into the match, and you go into the match, and meanwhile you're earning like this temporary favor, and you have another 5 earned that's up in the air. You should try to use it in that match, or if you feel confident enough to save it. But if you lose, you're gonna lose that 5.
Okay, but you can, in the same match that you earned like 1 or 2 favor, you can use those favor that you earned in that match.
Yes, and you're going to want to. That's kind of the beauty of the system is that
Yeah.
you're going to want to use that favor. But like, imagine the guy that holds on to it. You're going into a championship match, and Damien, the hold master himself, has 25 favor banked away. He could probably just come into the match, take you out in 1 second. And you do whatever you can. You have everything you do to try to stop him. If he wants, but does he want to use all that? No, Scro would never want to use all that favor in one shot. So what you could do to stop somebody is that if you have a high wit, is start outwitting them and basically making them a fool. You're making fun of them. You're making them look stupid inside the ring, and you start diminishing their favor. And you can start taking them down if you feel like that was something you want to do. If that's a part of the story, or that's something that you feel like is going to help you win the match, you could do that. You also could just go after their energy, but you know they're sitting on a bomb where they can launch into that favor at any moment.
All right.
Any questions about how favor works?
I'm honestly a little concerned at the thought of someone being able to carry over that much favor. I don't know if the concept of a cap was ever considered. Just the thought of a match being over in the first round. I don't know. It's if that's a little OP. I don't know.
I don't think so, because we're talking about the scenario that probably would have to take place over literally 2 or 3 months of playing where they didn't use anything and they could be wasting all the time. Also, they can't bank that stuff and move it forward unless they win. And if somebody is winning and just wants to like exploit the system and try to cash in on favor, that means the loser has another chance to get up and start punching in the face, win the combats, take them back, and take them out. So there's a balance there. If somebody wants to blow all their favor in one match, that's the plot hammer coming in for that one match. And if they want to blow all 20 that they took 3 months to earn, yeah, that could happen.
But if you use favor, like if let's say you use 10 favor in a finisher move and you roll a 1, you lose that favor and you didn't get the finisher, you take the 3 damage like a normal failed finisher, correct?
I don't know. I consider the fact that you roll a 1 because that is a natural loss.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think if you say, all right, I'm rolling my finisher and I'm adding 3 favor, if you roll and you still miss the finisher, I think you should lose that favor.
Yeah, because you're gambling. You're risking that favor.
Yeah, I agree. Because
think of it in plot. You pump up the crowd. You go for your finisher, and you humiliate yourself by they can break out of it. Well, you've lost that much favor. The crowd's not as confident in you as they were.
Yeah, I think like that. I think favors should be by definition something that's very fragile and very amazing and could be.
Yeah, because the crowd can turn on you like that.
Right, and you want somebody to be holding it around for a long time, or somebody trying to be cashing with a huge amount of it to have that upset. So, yeah, I believe that's good because that falls in with the culture of the favor as well.
And with favor too, like if your plan is to like curry favor and bank it and for a long time, like you're sacrificing a round of a combat victory, and instead of like going after your opponent's energy, or instead of like going after his stats, or like resting and improving your stats, you're basically like posing to the crowd rather than doing anything like that's going to help you win that match. So like what I'm thinking, if you're posing in order to bank favor and carry it on to next matches, it's because like you think you've got the match won. Like you think you've got the match in hand.
Which is
so
great
now
for
I can
story.
just like right. So now like if you're a heel, you can be like, all right, whatever. Now I'm just toying around with them. Or if you're a face, like Tony keeps saying, like if you're Hulk Hogan and like you're posing up and you're like playing to the crowd, now like you're banking all your favor. Like you can kind of make it work that way, but you're always like taking that risk and like, okay, like can I afford to do this? Can I afford to, risk this combat victory to pose to the crowd instead of like taking off more energy or maybe going for my finisher and finishing off the match.
I think we're going to see that you may have somebody that starts to get a lot of favor after a while. They're scared to use it, or wherever they do. But I think that you're going to see that favor is something that is used between 1 or 2 or 3 matches, because after a while it's going to be like you're going to be losing your matches and holding on to your favor, and you're not earning any new favor. You're going to need to use it to try to get a win out. Charles Morrison says, so we can only use our moves once per match or just earn favor for it once. You should, for your signature moves, don't use them more than once. Use your first move once, use your second move once, and then be done. That way we know it's coming out. It's special. Don't keep using the move. So and they're worth 1 favor. If I see that's not enough, we can always raise that up. Right now it's just 1. So okay. So anyway, so that's favor. That's the moves. Everything here is pretty self-explanatory. Just going across again, you're getting automatically. You're risk rolling it once. You're risk rolling it twice. Let's go down to the skills. Cheering is caring has survived, as most of the skills have survived. Roll 6s with chairs. Stun opponent for 2 rounds. Stun is basically going to meet. Did I write the official definition? I think I did.
Yes. Yeah.
Stun opponents can only perform basic strike or finisher. So if you stun somebody, it's not going to be unconscious. It's not this. We were using that before, but it's going to be kind of the more realistic impression of stunned, which means that you are conscious, you're able to do things, but like you cannot do any intelligent thought. You're just in a daze. So you can strike only. Basic strike, doesn't matter what stat you have. You can only have basic strike, or you can go for your finisher because that's the only thing you know how to do. Okay. So if somebody has a character that's based on keeping somebody off their game, that's pretty powerful because that's rough. They're taking all that out of you. But you know what? The great thing is that puts power back into the hands of the person that says, like, nope, I am the basic muscle strong guy. I'm going to keep hitting you with damage. It doesn't matter if I'm stunned. And that's his ability by not going to the other stuff is the fact that he's just that. So there are many different ways to make these characters. It'll be hopefully we'll see a lot of fun combinations.
Are stun attacks cumulative? Like if someone is stunned, can you stun them again to add rounds to it?
Yes, you will add rounds. I did have an answer to that down in here. Let's see if that comes back up.
Okay.
Because I had something to that. I can't remember if I had that here or if I had that when we were playing. Stunning attack. Your heavy hit stuns your opponent for 5 rounds instead of 3. Just increases your stun. Master Grappler. You only need 1 risk roll to take -1 combat off of an opponent. The combat negative mod max is 2. You cannot take more than you can't have an opponent with more than a -2 mod on their combat, no matter what the circumstances.
Okay, so that's not just for Master Grappler. That's universal.
No one can lose more than -2. That is what it is.
Okay.
Lethal. You deal +1 damage with all weapons, which is pretty cool. Strong +1 to all damage.
Does that go over the cap of 4? So if you have a strength of 4, every hit is now basically dealing 5?
Yes.
So question, why would you take lethal and not strong?
You deal +1 damage to all weapons?
Because if strong is +1 universal, that would include with weapons, wouldn't it?
Well, lethal means you're using your wit. Strong means you're Oh no! So strong is basically when you're doing a regular hit. It's not +1 to all. I should have
+1 to all non-weapon hits.
So I should clarify that. +1 to all damage when striking. That's what it is. Yeah, so it's not all damage with weapons. So yeah, it's just for striking. Wit. Wit is 3 or higher to use wit. Tricks of the trade. You win all ties. If another has a skill in a larger fight, you both roll off for a tie. So this is kind of a big feature. It is kind of a big reason to go for wit because ties happen a lot and you would win them. If you're facing off somebody who has it, then you both roll again, of course. Then yes, you've met your match and that's what it is.
And this skill supersedes normal when, like if you're doing technique versus technique, defender wins on all ties. This supersedes that?
Yeah, literally anytime there's a tie, you will win unless the other person has it. Then it'll be back to the same thing.
Okay.
But if you both have tricks of the trade and you tie, the defender doesn't win. You roll off again.
You both roll off, yeah.
Okay.
Weapon brass knuckles.
God. How many?
Weapon brass knuckles. Minor is +1 damage for every consecutive hit. So every time you hit successfully, it goes up You have to make it consecutive to keep getting the plus onto it. The cap is 3, which means that if you're hitting 4 times in a row, that means the first time nothing. You've added 1, you've added 2, you added 3, you've added 3, you've added 3, you've added 3. You're building up a lot of damage. The major is plus 2 damage or more. It's 0, 2, 4, 6 with a cap at 6. So the weapon, the brass knuckles, counts on the fact that you think confidently you're going to keep hitting somebody in the face, just keep consecutively getting the hit. The hits have to be consecutive. Again, you can't get hit between them. Weapon blinding powder, minor -1 to combat is the minor. Major is -2. Can use as many times as you want. The cap is 2, like you heard before. You can't take off more than -2 from combat. And again, people don't really have chances to add anything to their combat here. There are gonna be a few things, but nothing major. So chain, steal favor. This is actually literally like a chain you pull out. Steal favor from opponent during match. You and your opponent wager favor before roll, and a loser takes 3 damage. So you guys, when you have the chain, it's almost like you're like, it's like you're condescending, you're belittling somebody, you're humiliating with them with the chain, and then you both can make a wager about the favor they have. So somebody is holding a big bank of favor, you can have a thing where you bet 3 favor, or you bet 2, or you bet whatever. So that's a good way to steal favor. And then you also take damage on top of it. Long reach plus 2 wit when attempting to tag in partner. So now it is not automatic to tag in a partner. So if somebody is good at tagging in a partner, or somebody just sucks at it, it means you can make a great character, but they don't have the wit to get over there to be useful to help you in a tag team. It's great because now you have that extra factor that makes somebody a good partner or makes somebody not a good partner. Any questions so far for strength or wit?
Nope.
Technique, hard to kill, get out of a finisher, energy cost 2, may use even if stunned. So it literally, you can just get out of it. You're costing your own energy every single time. It's great for somebody who wants to survive forever. And it's tough to bring somebody down. You literally have to have them at 1 or below, because they're just gonna keep pulling out of it. So that person is kind of like a die-hard kind of person. They're always wiggling out. Their ground and pound game, their wrestling game is pretty strong. It's hard to nail them down. Dirty. You only need 1 risk roll to activate called shots rather than 2. This was a request by Charles, which I thought was good. So that's in there. Called shots is up here. -2 stat of choice. So if you're high in technique, you're allowing the person just to risk roll once to get -2 a stat of choice. They're going to come after you with that. But there is now below in fortitude a safety versus this, which is recovery, to remove 1 stat injury. And that means that you remove any injury in entirety from that 1 stat. So if somebody hurt you by 4 in that 1 stat, for example, you gain that all 4 back in recovery.
Oh, I thought that was just a +1 against the negatives that.
Yeah, no, it's the battling, it's the combat verse that somebody taking your stats out. So okay. it means that you're gonna risk roll and try to get that back, and that's a lot of time spent to do that. But if successful, you can undo everything that someone's doing against you. So is
that a random injury, stat injury, or is that whatever the?
No, it's choice.
Whatever the choice. Okay.
Yeah, you recover by choice. So that's that. Okay, so let's go back down to nail in the coffin. Deal 2 damage to opponent when you fail your finisher on them. So they just take 2 damage even when you fail.
But you still take the 3 too, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Knock out the ref. The ref is knocked out for 1d4 rounds and what looks like an unintentional hit. During that time, the match cannot be won. You can go grab a chair or a table without penalty or a DQ. So if you're going to get knocked out, like you deserve to lose this match, they can't pull a finisher on you for the next 1d4 rounds, and you can keep fighting back and try to turn the table. So if you're looking, you're seeing that, like, if every single category had something that made you go, oh, wow, that's big. That's good, because they're all over the place in different categories. What'd you say, Damien?
No, I was laughing because that's I agree. Yes. So far, every category has like some awesome stuff in it.
Right. You're kind of afraid of the person in every category a little bit.
I have a question. Can you scroll back up for a sec? To wit?
Oh, here, wit and skills?
No, up top. Yeah. So within wit is get item or use skill. So if I have like some skills in technique and fortitude, and my technique and fortitude are 3, that only gives me 2 points to spread. So the most we can actually activate and use either rolls or skills for are 2 stats, right?
Yeah.
No, you can activate. You're talking about you. To be clear, you can use any stat you want, whether you have 0 in it or whatever. So there's nothing that's ever going to stop you from using an item. It's just where it falls under. If something future comes into play that gives you a plus or a minus, then maybe that'll factor. That's just where it lives. Nothing can stop you from using an item or a skill unless you're stunned.
So then, what do I need a 3 for?
If you need for the skills, you're asking for using this, which this is not a skill. Right? But to take one of these, you have to have a 3.
Oh, I see. So if I want to, like, let's say, whatever, like
You can
let's
have
say
a 0
strike-
on wit and still go for outwit.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just if I want to use stats for a certain if I want to use a skill for a certain stat, I need a 3 in that stat to use the skill.
You can't take, and it doesn't matter if your stat's lower than the match, below a 3. That doesn't factor. It doesn't matter. It just means that you qualify to take these. For example, you must have a 3 in wit, and then when you take skills, now you can choose from anything in here you want. Get a 3 in technique. Now you can choose from here also.
Okay.
So this is a balance versus a person that wants to do a 4 and a 4. You could do that. That'll kill all your things. You could do 3, 3, and a 2. You can do 2, 2, 2, 2, which will make you more even, but against you're not going to get any skills. So it's a balance to choose how you're going to do your character. Where were we? So that was technique. I will make you tap +1 technique to rolls for all submissions. That's the same listing as we had before. Fortitude, Mr. Perfect, +1 to damage. This stays exactly the same. It's +1 when striking in combat until your first miss, and then it turns into a -1. All muscle, -1 energy damage to you from all strikes. I work out, heal 2 stat injuries instead of 1 during recovery. So that means that when you're using recovery here, you can actually heal 2 instead of 1. So a person that is Mr. Technique tries to take out that person in Fortitude. This guy is just so massive, so conditioned that he's probably just going to recover so easily. So there will be people that will be the person that's made to take you out, and you'll be this person to somebody else. Technique. Oh no, sorry, Fortitude. So cardio, gain +1 energy whenever you rest. Up here, we saw that when you rest, you get +1 energy. You get 2 instead of here. You get 3 instead. So if you think it's better to get the energy back, you can do that. It's up to you.
Can you rest when you are the tagged out opponent in a tag team match?
As of right now, no.
Okay.
No, I think that it makes sense for you to be able to rest out there. We could maybe think about that and put in there, like maybe the opponent, the person outside, can either.
When you get tagged back in, you get 1d4 energy back.
Because technically, you could do a taunt or aid when you're outside of the ring, or you can try to rest and keep trying to rest while you're there. So.
And I guess you would roll off against the other tagged out opponent?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because they could run around and kind of maybe prevent you from resting or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just to make it simple, you just roll off versus the other person outside of the ring. They would just be like, it doesn't have to be a direct thing. It just means that the chances of you resting or whatever this person is, just to kind of keep it at a balance.
Gotcha.
So back down, cardio built to last. You are injured for half stat points, round up whenever injured. So if, wherever you're supposed to be injured for 2, now you're injured for 1. Simple as that. Charisma must have 3 score or higher, like all of them. Favorite to win when playing to the crowd. Receive an additional +1 favor whenever you're doing Playing to the crowd, you'll see that it is over here.
Posing, I think.
Posing, yeah. So the change the wording there, so confusing. You get 1 extra favor. Let me change that word. And favorite, shrug off all damage 1 round. This is one that everyone loves. This is immortal, but now it's his fan favorite. It's like the plot did it. It's like you're the Undertaker. You cannot be hurt. Whistleblower can call for referee to search wrestler for illegal things. Opponent rolls for each weapon. Any one on a 1d6, the adversary loses the item. Favor -2 per item found. That's obviously to your adversary. You cannot go below 0 favor in a match. No one can put you into negatives. So it's a way to, if somebody's got a lot of favor and they're holding items and you know it, you can call for the whistleblower. If you want to spend your whole match doing that, you can do that until the items obviously are used or gone or whatever. And if somebody wants to spend their round chucking their item, getting rid of it, you could do that on your used item. You can just get rid of the item if you want to, because that's that's a loss of a round pretty much. We love it. 2 free rerolls every match. Must be used within the match. They cannot be added on. If that makes you fear, that is the benefit of having a high charisma. Your Injustice, your rerolls roll with a +2, like the luck feature in our tabletop. So your rerolls are friggin' deadly. So every single person, Scroll Smiling, every single person has something: charisma, fortitude, technique, wit, and strength. Any questions about any of the skills?
Just to be clear, every character we start with 1 skill.
Yes, choose 1 skill, and everyone will be starting over. And you're using the same characters. It's just you're going to start over. I think you're going to keep your records, but you're going to start off your character.
Question: If you start off when you're distributing your stat scores, and you have a 0 strength, will your damage just automatically be 1?
Yeah. You definitely will just do 1.
All right. And if you increase your strength to 1 at any point during the match, you'll still do 1 damage?
Yes, that's against you like you think it should be.
Okay, yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions about skills, how the system works? So we may have to tweak. We need to do some battles. Does anyone have a character that is actually made, or is, I imagine a lot of you have different ideas right now. Charles Morrison comes in, can go back to gaining 1 energy back like the beginning of tag matches. Having somebody out, yeah, we could just say that you're earning 1 energy when you're out, and just leave it at that. It doesn't mean that person's gonna come back.
Do you think
maybe there's a cap of 5? Maybe you can only gain back 5 max.
Do you think it should be like 1? You gain 1 energy back like every other round or every 3rd round or something like that? I think we got to think about that. But it makes sense though. Like if you're tagging out and like bringing in the fresh guy, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It might be better not to roll it, because then we don't have to figure out and decide, and we have to know that if the rolls are fair, if they're doing it. Just let it be like, oh, they're out 3 rounds. You gain 3 hit points back, 3 energy back, and that's it. I think having a cap off, like you can't just gain back to full. I think that you should be able to gain back to a certain amount, and that's it. Maybe you gain just 3. Maybe you only recover 3 from being out. I don't know.
Maybe you have to be out a certain amount of rounds, and then you gain 3.
Oh, there you go.
So as long as you're on the sidelines for at least 3 rounds, you gain 3 energy, and then
right 3 rounds before you can start to gain, and then I wouldn't be opposed to you gaining up to 5 again, because that means that the other person is suffering without you, and that encourages you to try to hold it down.
And then 1 per round as you go after that.
So you what if we say like, all right, you wait after 3 rounds, you get 3 hit points back, and then maybe after another 3 rounds, you hit your max of 5. That's a lot to be out, right? 6 rounds.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a lot to be out 6 rounds. I know you guys go sometimes a long time. I almost want to say to gain back, it should be 5 rounds wait, and then you can gain 1 every round until cap of 5.
Oof. After 5, huh? That's a lot.
But it's almost the same then. So 7 rounds gets you to 5.
No, 7 rounds would get you to 2. You don't gain anything for the first 5 rounds. You have to wait 5 rounds before you start to gain.
I see. So then, like round 6, you get 1. Round 7, 2, 8, 3, 9,
right.
4.
And by then, you figure by round 6, 7,
Yeah.
8, they're gonna want to start pulling you, and you're gonna be like, no, you want to gain.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that.
Good job, Scro. I think that's good.
Man, 5 is harsh though. That feels like
it should be. I mean, you got to.
Yeah.
It's technically you got to get your win back, and then you start to recover. But you guys don't flip each other in like 3 or 4 rounds. You wait a long time. You're out sometimes for 10 rounds.
Yeah, all right.
And the rounds go faster than you think. I think you'll find that I think everyone will be gaining back. Is what I'm saying.
I see you took away our Patreon rerolls.
I did. Yeah.
Damn
Ultimately, I don't think that people should be able to use a reroll for their own benefit in their matches, because the Patreon reroll is built around fans inspiring others. So I think you should be able to use it for someone else, but not your own match.
All right, Charles, you and I are going to have to team up.
Yeah, you could do that. You could have Charles vote for you, and you vote for Charles, and if you want to do that, that's fine.
Hold on. Can you go back down to the definitions?
Yeah.
We'll just give you dirty looks.
Just to clarify, last man standing wrestlers enter the ring every 7 rounds until there is only 1 wrestler standing in the ring. If you are thrown out, you lose. That sounds like a Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, I might have made a mistake here.
Wait, scroll down. See what else you got down there.
I think last man standing pins do count. Royal Rumbles, they don't.
Well, a last man standing match is just like a 1-on-1 match where like you just beat the crap out of each. But you already have Royal Roll and Rumble here. Wrestlers come out 1 by 1. If you were thrown out,
that's a Rumble. Yes, getting thrown out of the ring is the main thing of a Rumble. Last man standing usually means pins count, and everybody keeps fighting for themselves until if you're pinned, you're out.
I think that's a gauntlet match. What you're thinking of there. So it's like it's 1-on-1. Like let's say Hedge Delta fights Slapshot. Slapshot pins Hedge Delta. Then like
the next person comes in.
Then Trent Barrington comes out and you fight each other 1-on-1. Then the winner of that fights the next person.
Yeah. How's that look?
But in a gauntlet, the throwing out, that's not part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like a 1-on-1 match, then the winner immediately fights another guy. So there's like 4 people, right? A 1-on-1, winner fights guy 3. 1-on-1 again, winner fights guy 4, and the winner of that last match is the winner.
And factoring in the favor, if we're going to do that, you should get more favor banked the earlier you were in. Like if you're the first person in and you survive everyone, if you somehow are able to manage to get through the entire gauntlet, you should get like 10 favor at the end or something.
You know what?
Like that.
That's a good point. What we could do, let's say there are 7 people in any kind of those matches where it's coming in order. If it's 7, the first person should maybe perhaps get 7 favor, and then 6 favor, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then it's their choice to use it to their advantage or not. At least that kind of somewhat balances it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're the last person to come in, you're expected to win. So it doesn't curry that much enamor with the audience.
It's like when Seth Rollins fought for like an hour a couple of years ago in a gauntlet match on Raw. Like everyone was going nuts for him.
Or like when Kane set the record for the most people eliminated in a Rumble match.
Yeah, we should.
We could factor that in. You get 1 favor for every person you eliminate in a Rumble match.
Yeah, that's good too.
Okay, so favors rewarded by entrance position.
Well, that's in a. Would that be in a Roll and Rumble too?
Yeah, I'm trying to do it for everything.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would think. What we want to get favor for, like we'll have the descending scale based on your order of entry in the gauntlet match.
Yeah,
same thing. Entrance position using it. Yeah, that's what it said. Descending scale.
And that would be in what? A Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
a Royal Roll and Rumble, and a Gauntlet match.
Oh, Tony, we haven't gone over rep and XP yet.
Oh yeah, so XP is gonna be earned. I think it's gonna be 5 per.
5 for a win?
Yeah, 5 for a win, and then it'll be 10 for a championship win. Unless I wrote it somewhere else.
So you earn a skill every 2 wins now. Because under terms and definitions, it says begin with 1 skill and earn another every 10 XP.
Oh, so it means it should be less. Yeah, I'm thinking I had about 25. I have that tabletop version. Then
where it says skills there.
So I think it should probably be 2 per win and then 5 per championship match.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Skills are gonna be a lot harder to come by then.
Yeah, unless you're on like a roll. Yeah.
Can you ever earn points to permanently up your stats?
I had that in here. I had something in here before that if you take all the skills in one category, you would get a +1. But I think I took that out. So there's no other way to get your stats higher.
Okay.
So I feel like I might throw the system off. Let me get back down.
Yeah, we could also put you gain 1 favor for each wrestler you eliminate in a battle royal or a Royal Rumble.
I think it's 2 actually.
2? Okay.
And 2 favor for every player you eliminate. Meh.
Eliminate.
Eliminate.
Yeah, when you say that's a good point, Sarah. For when you say you gain what 5 for a championship match, is that just winning a belt or is that also defending a belt?
Should be defending too. Yeah.
Yeah, if you win a match in a match where the championship's on the line, doesn't matter if you're defending or whatever. So yeah, if a champion's doing it, he's earned a skill on his two tile defenses probably. I put throw someone out of the ring and gain 1 favor.
In any match?
Any match, yeah. Because we only open that up. We can. Do you guys want to leave? I've been thinking about. I was thinking about that the other day too. Is that we don't do any throwing out of the ring in normal matches, but we could. Do you guys want to leave the 6-1? You throw somebody out of the match, it stuns them.
Ooh, all the time, 6-1. Wow.
Yeah, somebody rolls a natural 6 and somebody rolls a natural 1. You can throw them out of the ring. It stuns them for whatever 3 rounds. They get back up, but they're stunned for 3 rounds though, and you gain 1 favor for doing it.
Okay. Do you like have to take a round to like go out of the ring, get him back in the ring? It's another round.
You could. I mean, you probably just want to stay out there, stay in the ring, and just pose or do something else. It's like it's kind of a big advantage.
Does it take them a round to just get back in the ring?
I think
so
before
basically, if you throw a person out of the ring, they have to take a round to get back in the ring. You have a free round to pose to the crowd or do whatever.
Yeah, I think with the 1 round thing like we have in the other matches works well, where it's one to get in, 1 to get out.
Okay.
So if I want to go out of the ring and throw him back in the ring, that's 2 rounds?
You would lose 2 rounds going in and going out.
What if a 6-1 just stunned, but it didn't involve throwing out of the ring if it was a singles match?
What if it's 6-1 just stunned? It just stuns him and he gets up, and that means he's got to come in and do something. It's a good time for you to attack him.
Yeah, like if you just stay in the ring, it stuns him, so now he can only do a regular attack or a finisher. But that's the advantage of the 6-1 roll off.
We should probably say that obviously there's a count out for being outside of the ring. So we can make it that like if somebody tries to stay out there, obviously they're gonna get called.
My scenario was that nobody got thrown out of the ring. Like if a 6-1 just stunned and that was it. Like it's like I rolled a 6, he rolled a 1, so now he's stunned for a round.
It could, but that actually works. That's good. We also don't have any kind of aspect for outside of the ring, but we should.
Yeah, it's kind of fun that it's a throw out of the ring scenario. Because, like you said, we don't really have that going on in the regular matches. So
we throw somebody out, as of right now. You throw somebody out. It's on 6-1. They get stunned for 3 rounds, and they can get up next round and climb in. But you at least have that 1 round where you could do something. Or maybe they want to stay out there and they want to I don't know, kill the clock a little bit.
Well, usually there's a count out, and the ref will count to 10. If they're not back in the ring, they lose the match via disqualification.
Right. So to make this interesting, because you're stunned, perhaps you don't have a good sense of timing. Should we almost be like have them roll a 1d4, and that's how many seconds they're killing?
Wait, say that again.
So like every second you're out there, instead of it being 1 round and then 10 rounds or 10 seconds, whatever it's going to be, what if they just do like every round they're outside, they have to roll 1d4 for how many seconds? And when you get to whatever seconds, 10 seconds, for example, then you'll be disqualified if you're still outside. There's really no reason you should be out there. All you got to do is get back in. But if somebody wants to play the game, which people do, is try to take him out and get back in the ring real quick. You could do that. You have to get him down on the ground or do something to him to knock him out.
Except, and this is common in most title matches, championships cannot be turned over on a disqualification. We Hedge Delta and Slapshot had firsthand experience with that, but that usually is the common rule. So if the champion is counted out, the champion still retains the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would still apply.
They just get the loss on their record still.
Yeah.
And the opponent and he loses all of his favor. The opponent gets the 2 XP or the 5 XP, even though he didn't win the belt. It's still a championship match. So there is a cost. Like, so if Slapshot wanted to keep the belt, he would walk in the ring and just walk right out. He'd get counted out, but he'd keep the belt, but he would lose all of his favor. The opponent would get the XP. And he'd look like a heel for not actually fighting the match.
Probably. What about the opponent gets the favor? You lose the favor and your opponent gets it.
No.
Yeah, all of your favor goes to the opponent. Sure.
Wait, but when you lose a match, you're not losing your banked favor. You're only losing the favor that you would have earned in that match.
But maybe in the DQ, it's different. In a disqualification, you lose your favor to the opponent.
Oh wow.
I think that would have to be under the judging by the circumstances of the DQ. I don't know. Like if you're DQ'd because you used an illegal item twice, and you got caught using an illegal item.
Well, it's not in there anymore. Right now, you just lose the favor of having the item, so that can't happen anymore.
Okay.
The only way you can get DQ'd right now is by something we can't predict, which is ridiculous, which would be a huge story event, or it's going to be something like this where you're caught outside the match.
I don't know if you remember at one point we were discussing a last man standing match, but if there was a timer, like the way the ref would count to 10, like if you gave them 10 seconds and they had to roll like a certain thing within that 10 seconds to get back into the ring, whether it was
I don't mind doing that, but I'm trying to make the system rely on me as little as possible, because if we start expanding the roster and getting more people in, people are going to start thinking that I'm favoring what if I count slow that day and I count faster another day. So I think it has to be a mechanic where it's playable.
Okay.
I'll Venmo you my. No, never mind. Tony,
He's trying to influence me. You heard
it. I'd like to throw one other idea out there for another type of match, borrowing from the WWE, and that's the Money in the Bank idea, where it's a separate match, and the winner gets this Money in the Bank contract that he can use at any time to call an instant championship match. And so now fast forward to a normal championship match. The winner has the belt, but his energy is less. And the person with the Money in the Bank comes up and says, I want to play. The winner from the championship has to start the match from his current energy level. He doesn't get to reset it like normally if we do multiple matches in one night.
That's badass.
And the person with the Money in the Bank has his full energy.
I'll let you guys vote on that because I can see people loving in that and hating that.
I think you would have to, like, WWE does those, I think, once a year, and it's like it's like who's got the briefcase this year. So if we spaced it out, it could be great because it's like whoever has the title, it's like you never know when or whoever has the briefcase, you never know when he's going to cash in. Is he going to cash in there? Is he going to not? Like, is he going to torment the people? I think that's a great idea.
So they have it, and they have 1 year from the day they win it in order to cash in their title shot.
We would do it by season, I guess.
Right. So maybe that would be like the season opener. I think we'd have to talk about this as we lay out the season. Like if we open up the season with the Money in the Bank match, this way, like on episode 1, someone has the briefcase, and I say, okay, by the time episode 12 comes along, at the end of the season, you need to use your briefcase.
And that's great because then you could talk a bunch of trash and then maybe put up the briefcase in a match. Be like, all right, let's go.
What if the champion is the person who has the briefcase? It's just wasted at that time. He's just protecting himself.
The champion wouldn't be in the match. I think the champion shouldn't be in the match.
Well, no, but the champion, the belt can switch hands from the time that the Money in the Bank the briefcase is won to when that person chooses to use it. So
right, like the person is now champion. He also has the case.
That's perfect.
He's protecting it.
That's perfect though, because if it's only once a season, it's like, all right, season 4, this guy was dominating. He had the title and the freaking briefcase, and like that's epic. It's just like nobody cashed in that season since it resets. So every season.
If you guys like it, I can put it in. It's up to you.
It's a ladder match too, and we can do ladder matches.
Yeah.
It's usually one in a ladder match. Yeah.
Hanging from the thing.
I like it.
I'm okay with it. It sounds kind of fun. I don't know. It's a big like dramatic sway. Obviously, if it comes into play, then
it's a wild card.
It's this big like wild card thing, and it's hard to know how that's gonna play out, and if it's gonna feel fair and stuff like that for people. But it's a cool idea. In general, I like it. So.
Okay, let's go back to the let's wrap up just the last issues we did because we pretty much did everything. The DQ. If you're DQ'd right now, I have here for notes. You're gonna lose. You lose your favor, and your opponent gets it. You lose the match, but not your belt if you have the belt.
Are we counting DQs and countdowns as the same thing? Like if you get counted out, you lose your favor too?
Yeah.
All of your banked favor?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Is that what kind of match is that in? Any match or
any match you're
counted out in any match.
Yeah, if you're thrown out and you're not allowed to be out and there's a countdown, you'll be out.
So how are we doing the count out?
I think we should do the countdown because we do it one by one. It's just too easy. It just never happened. It can't be applied. It just won't be a thing. I think we should do every round you're out, re-roll a 1d4, and that's how many seconds have passed.
And if you get to 10, you get counted out.
Yes, if you reach the 10 number, then that is it. So you can do your round, and then we roll at the end. Maybe it's going fast, maybe it's going slow, and you're fine or whatever. But at least there's some sort of rush that could happen.
So when you're outside the ring, what's the benefit of staying outside the ring and not getting back into the ring?
So you could stay out there until your stun is over. You could stay out there and try to. Well, you can't pose if you're stunned.
I got you. Okay.
But if you're outside the ring, not stunned, you could pose.
Or rest.
You could.
Yeah, okay. So you could purposely just go outside the ring and risk being DQ'd, but build up your stats if you want, if the other guy doesn't follow you.
Yeah, you could try to rest. You could double down on this idea and say that if somebody goes on top of the ropes and jumps off the ropes while you're out there, that could be a big move where you actually knock the person out.
Oh, and then they're stunned, and the D4 still rolls.
Yeah, like it's like a knockout and a stun. Well, I guess you could win. Then that kind of breaks the system a little bit. Then why would you just try to win the match? But you have to bring them. You can't pin them outside, right? If I remember correctly, you have to bring them inside.
Correct.
Yeah.
So then it could just be you knocked them out, and they're out there, and you're in, and the countdown, and the ref is just counting down, and they're just knocked out.
Yeah, that's happens in wrestling matches. People just knocked out outside, and then they miss the 10 count. I like that.
It's kind of cool.
So then what is it? The person jumps on top of the ropes, and is it a combat versus combat? I feel like the guy on top should have some sort of advantage.
I don't know, because if he misses, he takes a pretty freaking hard fall.
Well, no, if the guy on the ground, since getting thrown out only stuns you for 1 round, if the guy on the ground or the guy outside wins that combat roll, he could come up and jostle the ropes, causing the guy on the turnbuckle to drop and take maybe like 2 points of damage.
Yeah, it's tricky. I almost need a whole system.
Yeah,
just
that's
too complicated.
Yeah, that's what I like. Even just having like outside of the ring, I feel like it's a whole separate system that we need to set up. It's getting complex.
Okay.
Maybe let's try to see if there's a sweeping one rule I can put in here. Maybe so every round the person's out there, they're doing something, right? Every round that they're out there, the person in the ring could stay focused on whatever they're doing, right? And it doesn't matter what the person on the outside is doing. They're rolling a die. They're rolling a d6, right? So the person outside the match.
Rolling a d6 to do what?
They still have to win. If you're outside and you're trying to, let's say someone's outside, and like what are the things you can do to exploit the system if you're sitting outside the ring?
If you're awake, you could recover. Yeah, you could just rest and taunt the crowd or do things like that.
But that's my question though. Like, if you what's the mechanic for that if there's no combat taking place?
If you're stunned, you can't do nothing anyway.
If you're stunned, you can't do anything. The person in the ring is benefiting from you.
The person in the ring can rest or recover.
Right.
So that's only for 1 round. So what happens in round 2?
Well, round 2, you can either go get him.
Well, your stun lasts for more than 1 round. Your stun lasts for like 3 rounds or so.
I thought you said a 6-1 throw out was 1 round of stun.
No, you would be stunned. I might have said I don't know if I said per round, but that was an example if I did so. But I think that the stun throwing out would probably be a few rounds at least.
Oh.
But it takes 1 round to get in and 1 round to get out. We were saying.
But
yeah, that's free recovery or rest for the guy in the ring without a roll.
But does it have to be? The person who's stunned could just come back in and keep fighting them, and then only give them the 1 round. That's it.
Right.
So,
or the person outside is not stunned, and then you're now.
If you're not stunned, so then when someone just gets out of the ring and they roll out of the ring, they go outside. There should be almost like a dangerous quality to doing that, like they're risking things. So now,
if they roll out of the ring just to rest or recover, there's still a roll off if the guy in the ring's not stunned. So there's that part. So they have to come back in the ring after that 10, somewhere in that 10 count, or get dragged back in by the other guy.
So I was thinking, if they're outside and if they make any sort of roll, the person in the match, the person in the ring, can then roll against them. And if there's another 6-1 combo, that means that they get on the ropes and they jump off onto them and they knock them out, and they're out for a period of like 1d4 rounds, something like that. And that was dangerous. Every round is a 1d4 roll for the time. You know, they could theoretically lose the match.
And don't forget, there's a legal object outside the ring called the stairs that can be used free of charge.
That's true.
Interesting.
But if I'm in the ring and someone's like stunned outside the ring, how do I rest and how do I recover? Do I just say I use this round to rest? Because like under normal circumstances, you would need to do a roll off with the other person in order to rest, and you need to roll off twice in order to recover. Right.
So rest is a roll off. Correct. So I guess you would still have to do the roll off. No matter what, you're still kind of they're the opponent. They're the adversary. You're still going to roll off first then. But yeah, there's a thing on who wins every round.
Could there be a minus to the one that's stunned?
Well, the person that's stunned can't even. They can't attack you. So basically, they would just say like, "What am I going to do? Swing in the air?" They can't do anything.
The one that's in the ring that's not stunned still got to roll off against the one that is stunned. Couldn't there be a minus to that? Like a -1
to just stopping the person in the ring?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, because you could do it a minus. So let's say Dan's in the ring. Let's say Damien's outside of the ring. Damien goes outside. Let's say that he's stunned. He got thrown out there. He's stunned for 3 rounds. Next round, Dan goes. Okay, well, I want to recover. So Dan has to do a double risk roll. It's going to be versus Damien.
Right.
And Damien is stunned. Damien can't do it. Can't attack each other. Neither of them can attack each other. But because Damien's stunned, he can't do anything, and he can't do a finisher because his opponent's not there. So he literally can only hide from his opponent, and he could get stuck out there. So that's basically it. How it goes. We have minuses or not. It's up to you guys.
So, but I think the in that case, like the guy in the ring has to have some kind of advantage. So in that case, the advantage is that he gets to go for recovery without winning combat in that round, which I think is fair. Like he can just say, "Hey, I'm going for this." Normally, if you want to go for that, you got to win combat. But in this case, you don't have to.
Maybe it lowers all your risk rolls by 1. So that's the yellows are now automatics and the reds are now just 1.
I think that's a bit OP, honestly.
Yes, I agree that the first thing is OP.
What about
I'm trying to make it that it's not automatic.
What if like
no,
in a scenario?
it's not.
No. He's saying you skip the green, and if I'm in the ring and I throw him out, the next round when he is stunned, I automatically win combat, so I can go for my first risk roll without having to win a combat roll first.
Right.
So I still need 2 risk rolls to hit recovery, but I didn't have to win the combat roll first because he's out of the ring. I'm in the ring. He can't. I'm not at risk of him attacking me, so I go straight to. Oh, I'm resting. Okay, he's out of the ring. I can start. I roll the first risk if I want to just gain 1 energy, or I can go for 2 and get recovery.
Right. So I think you can say that the person in the ring, when one person is in the ring by himself and one person's out of the ring by themselves, you can say that the person in the ring by themselves auto wins combat every round, just so they can take their action. So then they can say, okay, I'm in the ring by myself, therefore I'm going to risk roll for 1 energy, like Jason just said, or you can risk roll it for twice for 2, and then that's it. That's what you can spend with your time. So like really, that means that the person outside of the ring, there's no reason you should be out there. Because all you're doing is you're making it that, so now if there's 2 people and they're not stunned and one's in the ring and one is out, then like who gets then you can't, then they both can roll. Now see, you have to work it out.
Yeah, maybe like an advantage or a disadvantage. Because like in wrestling, if somebody left the ring, the guy in the ring, it's almost like he has high ground where he could kind of guard the ropes and get an attack. Like right when the guy tries to slide through the ropes, he could just be getting his ass kicked because he's crawling under the ring. So maybe give like an attack, but it's a -1 on a roll for the guy coming in the ring, and then so there's like an advantage, like you're coming in the ring, you're preoccupied with crawling into the ring, so you're about to get your ass kicked when you get in there.
So what about like Charles is saying? Charles is saying give a modifier. We could say the person in the ring always gets a +2 to combat. And no matter what they do, so maybe you're still rolling combat versus combat, but you can't do. Well, you could do strikes. You could still do strikes. Damien could sneak over and try to get his cheap shot in, but everything is done with a +2 bonus given to the person inside the ring.
Yeah, this is becoming a whole system of outside the ring, inside the ring.
This is a lot.
Well, what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to make 1 rule.
Yeah.
We circulate through 3 or 4, but we're trying to make 1 rule that works.
Yeah, the system comes out afterwards. Right now, I'm just trying to figure something else out.
What is the one thing, the 1 rule you can put into place when somebody is in and out? Could just do a +2. That's it.
Yeah.
When you're outside and inside, you're still rolling combat to see who acts. You both can't act. Combat wins it. The plus goes to the person inside the ring, which means that they're probably going to win. And
but the +2 is just for combat or for all roles?
No, just for combat. It tells you who's going to take an action that round because both wrestlers in this rule system do not take an action.
Right.
So therefore,
Okay,
the person who wins
sense.
is going to take the action. The person inside the ring gets a +2, which means you don't want to be on the outside if you don't have to be. So you could be out there at your own loss, but if Damien's out there and wants to make these rolls, it's at a huge minus, and also he's running the clock.
So now, if the guy outside the ring wins combat, does he have the option to? Now he's stunned. So does he have the option to do either? What he should be limited.
He can strike you or try to finish you. Let me see. He will grab you and pull you out.
I don't think you should be able to do a finisher like when you're outside the ring, or the guys.
Because you
and the other
can't
guys
win outside the ring.
He's trying to come back in the ring.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, if the guy outside the ring wins combat, he should have.
Okay, so then
he should only have the option to either strike you and do strength damage, or re-enter the ring.
So you can only finish somebody in the ring, and if you're outside the ring, you can only strike to the opponent inside.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I think if one guy's in the ring and one guy's out of the ring, like you shouldn't be able to do a finisher.
Yeah. So
when they come on the apron and they pull you down, you hit your neck on the rope and you fly back. Like it should be something like that, like just an attack from the apron or attack from the rope. That like realistically, what else attack other can you do besides sweeping the leg from outside the ring or doing something like that?
I would only award a 6-1 with the person outside rolling a 6 to sweep everybody in, sweep them outside, something like that, like a reversal.
So if you're outside the ring, you have to win combat before you can enter the ring.
That's OP.
Because we're talking if you're losing 1d4 seconds every round you're out, then the opponent who's in the ring just conceivably just has to win 3 combat rolls and you'll be counted out.
With a +2.
With a +2.
He's right, because then you have to make it that they can enter whenever they want to, or they can't. But it's a part of the. So I probably have to put on here under wit, I guess, to like enter the ring, exit the ring or something like that.
But you still have to win the combat roll to be able to exercise that.
Right. So
and
then, therefore,
you're still at a -2.
Yeah. So you can't do a 1d4 in that situation. You have to bring it back down to just like you can't be outside for too long. I'll work on this because it's very tricky. But the +2 thing could work. At least we have some good ideas we can put through here.
But the guy inside the ring might not want to go out with a DQ and just, all right, I win combat. I'm gonna suplex him back into the ring. And now we're back on.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's iffy. How do you want to win a match?
Right, but it just can't be like a 6-1, throw a guy out, and then now you do have control. I mean, how often do people fight to keep somebody out of the ring? Not very often. They usually get back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually they'll maybe go outside, attack him, and then go back in the ring and try and keep him down for the count out. But like
so you could say that if the person on the outside just wants to enter the ring, it denies the +2 combat. There's no combat bonus. He says, I'm just trying to enter, so he just has to win combat to enter. But if he does anything else that is not just trying to enter the ring, then the opponent has the advantage in the ring.
That's kind of cool. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, you could put that under wit, re-enter ring. That way it'll be a roll-off.
Let's put it in for now.
And how about making a 50 XP to raise 1 stat?
That's a long game you're playing.
Exactly. But at least the option is there.
Yeah, because if you're not winning matches, you ain't getting any freaking crap.
Yeah, I mean the option is there. If you ain't winning matches, you ain't get skills either.
I'd say no for now because the system is balanced the way it is. I don't see any reason we should have to unbalance. It should be about the strategy you're using. So for now, I'd say no, but maybe we'll change that once we see the system more.
And it says,
Yeah, especially with only 2 XP per match, 5 for. I mean, boy, yeah. How many matches are you fighting to get up to 50?
25.
Yep.
I don't think we have that many in a season.
No.
do we do a crazy match right now and test it out?
We could. It's late, though. I don't know if people want to do a match now. I'd say we just do it.
I think we've added / changed enough that I think Tony needs to stew on a few things and hammer things out before we test the system.
Yeah, I think next week we could do a test on the Monday, and then battle it out. I'll work on the aspect of going outside the ring because I think that's something we're missing. Just gotta figure it out. Adding it in under wit is good that it's there now, so you can do it. You don't have to win wit to do it, but it's just under there just so we have it in the system somewhere. So then it comes down to just winning combat to win your action.
And for the record, Larry threw a lot of people out of the ring during normal matches.
Who did?
Larry.
Oh, Larry the trucker? Yeah.
Yeah. That's when I posed to the crowd. You going out the ring.
Hey, we need to have Larry the Trucker and Savior come back for a Hall of Fame match.
Only if we do on the old
if
system.
that's possible.
Dude,
Only
Savior
the old
needs to
system.
return.
On the old system.
Yeah, on the old system.
Only on the old
Good luck trying to convert them to the new system.
Yeah, exactly.
The Savior's return will be glorious.
They'll come back in like, we don't know all these fancy new rules.
Yeah.
My day, we just pound the shit out of each other.
Let's get old school out of here.
Damn it, if Slapshot had won 2 weeks ago, it would have been a fatal 3-way.
That was wild. I was
That
stunned.
was crazy.
I said it before. I have never in my life rolled that many natural ones. It was insane. I didn't go back and count it. I couldn't watch it again. But
you rolled lots of sixes and you rolled lots of ones. It was just it was a perfect storm.
It really was. I swear, if I didn't roll a dozen natural ones, I rolled at least 10. It was that bad. But you know what? Slapshot just chalks it up the hockey gods. You know, why does the puck bounce one way and not the other on any given hit? You know, the hockey gods were not with him back then. But
you was keeping up with mine and Hedge Delta's match with all the ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. If you get knocked out of the ring on a 6 and a 1, you have the stun thing come in. The person, if you want to get in, you have to win combat to get in. So we want that if people want to risk it, you know, I mean, I shouldn't say risk roll it like that. If people want to risk their time out there to wait for the stun, whatever they can, blah, 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 it's their choice. They have to get in. We'll say every round, we're just going to say is 2 seconds. So basically, on the 5th round out, they're DQ'd. They will try to re-enter the ring whenever they want to, right away or not. When they do, like as a part of the system, you have to win combat. The person in the ring gets a +1 to combat, and that's it. So they do have an advantage to keep you out.
Can the person outside, if they're stunned, can they still try to get back in the ring?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not a risk roll.
Well, it's under wit. That's why I asked. It became part of the wit category, and if you're stunned, all you can do is basic attack or finisher. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, if you're stunned, you might be staggering, but you can still find your way back into the ring.
Yeah, so if someone throws you out, back to the scenario, Dan throws Damien out. Dan gains 1 favor for throwing him out, which is cool. Dan has +1 to combat while Damien is outside, as long as he stays in the ring. Because he could go out there and fight him. If they go out there, they're going to be on a timer, and they need to get in. On their 5th round out, they are DQ'd. They are DQ'd.
We can try that and see how that works.
Yeah. And that's it. And if there's a 6-1 on the outside to the inside, it'll be reversal, and you'll pull somebody out. 6-1 should always be like the holy shit moment. And that's that. DQs, if you're DQ'd, you lose the match, not the title. Lose all your favor. The opponent gets the favor. That's that for DQing. So that's it. I'll put this in for now. If you guys want to make any ideas for changes, let me know. And that'll do it. That'll do it here for our session 0 for Roll and Rumble, the next generation.
Yeah, hopefully no thunderstorm next week.
Yeah, we'll see. So guys, prepare your characters. See what you're going to do with your, how you're going to design your character. If you have a question for me, ask me. And then we'll have everyone battle. Try to get everyone in one match. I'll take away one of the shows next week. We'll have like a bigger Roll and Rumble so we can just try it out and then get the bugs out. But I'm excited. I think there's a lot of ways you can make a character. You can angle a character a couple different ways, and everyone should be able to. If you're doing 2-3s, you can pull 2 categories of skills per character. So it should be interesting mixes. That'll do it here for D6 Arcade, guys, and Audio Dungeon. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to our sponsors, thank you to our Patreon members, and thank you to our partners. And we will see you next time.
Great seeing you guys.
Have a good night.
Late,
night.
I'm here.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.
Peace.